The weather is perfect in South Carolina. The fans are ready. The NASCAR Winston Cup drivers have a monumental challenge ahead of them on this Sunday afternoon. The word to best describe Darlington is speed. 1957, a blistering 115 miles per hour. By 68, the pace was up to 148. And now in 1995, for the first time, a lap over 170. Last year, an abrasive track surface caused excessive tire wear. Pit stops were frequent simply because tires wouldn't last very long. The particles of rubber clogged the grills of many of the cars, stopping the airflow, and that caused overheating problems. The Lady in Black was fast, but her odd shape and abrasive track surface caused many problems for those who tried to tame her.
But Bob, not today. For the first time in the 45-year history of this famed Lady in Black, she has gotten a complete new facelift. Nice, brand new pavement here, and new pavement means higher speeds. In fact, 27 cars today shattered the old track record. Our pole sitter, Jeff Gordon, broke it by some 4 miles per hour. Now the speed could be a problem. You're going to have to concentrate. You got to maintain your composure, and you're going to have to be patient. Yes, the new pavement looks very, very smooth, but many drivers here believe today the new racetrack could make this track even tougher to tame.
It's the same Darlington. It's blacker than it was, I guess.
About the only thing different is the surface. They didn't change any of the characteristics of the racetrack.
The first time I ever ran here, it was scary when you run 145, and I guess it's the same when you run 165. To me, it's not changed much at all.
It's different. Yeah, it's different than it was. I wish it wasn't repaved right now.
I'm running wide open in places that you don't run wide open in those spots, because if you do, I remember vaguely that you'll crash.
From 1968 to 1980, Darlington and the name Pearson were synonymous. David won 10 times in that period and put himself at the top of the win list. But would he like the speeds of today?
Now that might be a little bit too fast for me. You know, you drive it the same way you did back then.
Since 1982, however, the man to beat here at Darlington has been Dale Earnhardt. He's racked up 9 wins and today could tie Pearson's mark.
And as you get a look at that black GM Goodwrench Chevrolet Monte Carlo of Dale Earnhardt, he sits back in the 23rd position, getting strapped into the car. We're just about ready to fire the engines. And Dale, you go after win number 10, trying to tie the Silver Fox. How about it?
Well, I don't know. You know, he's a tough character, and it's a tough racetrack. So we just want to get through the day. It'd be great to tie his record, but still, I've always admired David Pearson. He's taught, and I learned a lot from him. So it'd be pretty impressive to be in the same group as the David Pearson, and especially a racetrack like this, it's tough to tame.
Well, a lot of people say starting back beyond 20 can be a handicap, but not for Dale Earnhardt, Bob.
Well, we've only gotten 4 races into this season, and already 3 poles and 2 wins for this young man from Pittsboro, Indiana, Jeff Gordon. Here's Bill Weber.
Well, Jeff Gordon is on the pole, sitting in his DuPont Chevrolet, ready to roll out over 170 miles an hour. But, Jeff, that's only part of the story. Your teammates are 1, 2, 3. That's an amazing accomplishment. I'm sure you'd like to bring it home that way, and that would be your 3rd win.
Well, yeah, sure is. I mean, it looks like the guys I'm going to have to battle are my own teammates. But, you know, that's the thing with Hendrick Motorsports. They build great race cars. They're building great engines right now. And the guys we're really having to worry about are our own people.
How about the track, Jeff? How do you like it?
It's great. I mean, it's smooth, it's fast. You know, it's got a lot more grip than it ever had before, and so that's bringing the speeds way up. Goodyear's got a great tire for us today, so, you know, I think we're going to be in good shape in all areas. We just got to respect this racetrack. You know, you got to have a lot of respect for it and respect the guys around you and hope that you're there at the end.
He's been very fortunate in his career, but this is one track where he hasn't had a lot of success. But 22,000 extra reasons to win today. That's the Unocal bonus. Back up to you, Bob.
So those are the stories, and we officially welcome you to our first NASCAR Winston Cup race of 1995, the Transouth Financial 400 from Darlington, South Carolina. I'm Bob Jenkins, and we welcome you back as we continue our coverage of NASCAR Winston Cup racing here on ESPN. We've told you about the stories in the last few minutes and in the previous half hour. You know all about them, the top speeds that we've seen turned in here so far and the new pavement. Now, Ned Jarrett and Benny Parsons have both won at this track. So, gentlemen, the way I read it, with the new pavement and everything, we're not going to see a single yellow here today, and everything's going to go fine, right?
Wrong. Jenkins, you know better than that. This is Darlington, and I think by listening to the drivers' fans, you know that they still respect this place. At 170 miles an hour, this racetrack becomes more narrow than ever before. It's going to be tougher than ever, Ned.
Yeah, I think it will be tougher than ever, and really the track will be an equalizer. The fastest car don't always win here at Darlington. We've seen it so many times in the past. Will we see it today? Well, we don't know. But we have a big day for you here on ESPN, and Dave Despain can tell us more.
Hey, the fun starts here, okay? If you don't have a ticket, if you're not in the grandstand, the best place to watch the race is on ESPN and ESPN2. We have 35 cameras, 36 if you count Eileen's little fun saver here. If you get anything good, we want to use that on our television program. 35 cameras, including 21 on the deuce. That's where I'm headed next to do my thing. Stand by for all the excitement of the Transouth 400 coming up on 2 networks.
And the cars begin to roll off the grid here at Darlington, and after a couple of warm-up laps, we'll be going green for 400 miles of racing. It's a 1.366 mile oval here at Darlington, 1,228 feet on the front stretch and the back stretch, but notice the corners. Corners 1 and 2 are banked at 25 degrees and are much tighter than turns 3 and 4, which are banked at 23 degrees. As far as the race analysis is concerned here this afternoon, we will go 293 laps. There you see Jeff Gordon's pole speed. The record for the race is 139.9. They should be pitting between laps 60 and 65, and the purse is over $1 million. The starting lineup for today's race. On the pole is Jeff Gordon at 170.833. Terry Labonte is second. Terry had his first start here in 1979 and his first win in 1980. The second row, there's the third member of the Hendrick team.
Kenny Schrader started third alongside the first Ford off Ricky Rudd. And folks, you saw that pit win of 60-65 laps. That is for fuel, and they will be able to run that far on tires, no problem today.
How much did you win by when you won the Southern 500, Ned?
Just 14 laps. Close finish.
I don't think we'll be seeing that kind of a race here today.
And you can see the new pavement there. As the cars came off turn 4 on the inside, you can see where the old pavement started and the new pavement. There we go. We can see on the right side the light color. That's the old pavement. The pit road has not been repaved, although there's no reason to pave pit road at 35, 40 miles an hour. What is the pit road speed? Probably 55?
55 miles an hour today. And speaking of pit road, there are 23 drivers that are pitting on the front stretch. The balance of the field is pitting on the back stretch.
And here you are seeing some of those now back in row number 13 and 14. Jeff Bodine and Michael Walter back in row number 14. Jimmy Spencer and Greg Sachs occupy row number 15. Steve Kinzer is in the field without having to take a provisional. Jeremy Mayfield and Billy Standridge back in row 18. We move now to those who had some problems qualifying. The provisional starters are Mast and Marcus and Wallace and Allen, 41st and 42nd. Many in-car cameras. Here's the one on Mark Martin. Now here is Ricky Rudds. We're also in the 16 car of Ted Musgrave.
Darrell Walter. There's a face look.
There's Morgan Shepherd in the Citgo Ford getting ready to go. Kenny Schrader will carry a camera. He's right behind the pole center, and Michael Waltrip has a car or a camera on the top of that car. Here we go green, and the Transouth Financial 400 about to get underway, and there's the green flag.
as he follows. Crash up in turn 1.
Joe Nemechek is involved. He's up against the wall. I believe everybody else is going to get by because Joe keeps the car up against the wall in 1 and 2.
It's a tough break for Nemechek. In testing down here last week, he hit the wall with the car, and the caution flag is out.
Jeff Gordon leads them down to take the caution. Labonte second. Sterling Marlin had moved up to third. Then Schrader and Rudd as the rest of the field comes down. Nemechek limping to the pit area. Here's a replay of what happened in 1.
He gets in too high. Just gets in too high, gets the loose stuff, loses the back end of the car. The rear goes around, hits the wall, and that brings the front end hard, Ned.
And fortunately, he stays up on the wall because there were a lot of cars behind him coming at full speed, and he stayed up there. They were able to get below him, so no other car involved him.
It has been a tough early part of the season for Joe Nemechek.
That's his brake rotor that's laying on the racetrack on the backstretch. There's Chip Warren that has the thing spotted. He says to the fireman, come pick up this rotor.
Here's John Kernan.
Well, as Joe Nemechek will take that hard left-hand turn, you see a lot of the damage. Yes, in fact, that was the brake rotor from his car that came off. He is headed to the garage area. We will try to catch up with him momentarily.
So Nemechek goes to the garage area. His best finish, by the way, in 1995 has been a 16th at Atlanta. They're the top 5 and the second 5. We'll be right back.
Morgan, this is a piece of a brake rotor over in turn 3 somewhere.
Welcome back to Darlington, South Carolina, the Transouth Financial 400. You're looking at Ricky Rudd, who is, as the other drivers are, standing by to get the green flag in the resumption of this race after a caution caused by Joe Nemechek, who hit the wall between turns 1 and 2. Here's a green. Let's listen. Rudd is running in 5th position. There's his Ken Schrader just ahead. Back in the pack, it is Ted Musgrave going to the inside of John Andretti, and Brett Bodine does likewise.
There we see Dick Trickle in the 15, Lake Speed in the 9 car, and there's Earnhardt in the Goodrich Chevrolet. Lake Speed trying to get on the inside of Trickle. Can't make the pass.
A lot of the drivers were concerned would they be able to pass as fast as they're running here on the new pavement. But we saw yesterday in the Busch race that, yes, but one good place to pass here is still in turns 3 and 4, as we saw there just a moment ago. And here's Dick Trickle making a pass.
He's going to 18th position, dropping Andretti back to 19th. Lake Speed and Dale Earnhardt are right behind him. Now, Rusty Wallace and Darrell Waltrip are battling together at the front of the field, and Wallace takes the spot away from Darrell. And here comes Bobby Labonte right behind him.
And Mark Martin coming right behind. And also
Morgan Shepherd is coming along, so is Ricky Craven, and with that slight movement up to the top of the racetrack, Waltrip loses several positions.
It's kind of like Bristol. You get out of the groove and the train goes by.
Or Talladega, yeah.
There's Morgan Shepherd as he looks at the Family Channel car. And a crash up in 3 and 4. Greg Sachs has hit the wall up in 3 and 4.
Second caution comes out after just 9 laps. It's going to be a long afternoon here at Darlington. Greg Sachs in the Kendall Pontiac up against the wall in the 3rd turn. He's been able, however, to drive it around the racetrack, but the caution is flying.
While we were watching all that other action back in the pack, Sterling Marlin was able to move around Terry Labonte and take over 2nd place. And you can see the damage here to the Pontiac of Greg Sachs. Still able to drive it, though.
It might be just sheet metal on this car. We'll just have to see.
He's pitted in the backstretch, so he's headed for his pit, and we'll take another look at what happened.
There he comes to observe replay and we can see what happened to Greg Sachs.
It looked like he was running pretty well by himself there in the back end, just got out from under him.
Well, that's Chuck Bound. That was behind him, but not too close.
No, he's not close enough to hit him.
Bill Weber is back there in the Greg Sachs pit. Bill?
Well, they're working on the Kendall Pontiac. He has heavy left side damage. Obviously, the hood has been up. They're working back around the gas tank. They're going to have to bend the sheet metal away so they can get the fueler in there. Greg has shut off the engine. They're going to cut off the rear tail section. This should take a little while. Let's go to John Kearney.
Well, the work continues on Joe Nemechek's car. It looks like the most serious part is that broken right front brake rotor. Joe, what happened out there?
Well, Darlington's still the same old racetrack. It's pretty tough. I was in the outside groove, and there isn't a lot of rubber up high yet, and I couldn't get down. Car got loose going in the corner, just slid up and hit the wall. Tough break for the Burger King Monte Carlo. We're trying so hard, we just can't seem to get a break yet.
Well, they will continue to work, Ben. He'll be out back on the racetrack just as soon as he can.
Meanwhile, the field is still under yellow, however, about to go back to green. Jeff Gordon is the leader of the race. He has led every race so far this year, and in fact had pulled out to a pretty comfortable interval before the caution came out over Sterling Marlin, who had taken second place. Sachs is back out on the racetrack for the moment as we look at Mark Martin, who is in the 10th position at the moment. Now there is the camera on top of the Budweiser car driven by Ken Schrader. Green is out.
We saw Darrell Waltrip get passed by several cars there just before the caution come out. We got a report that his car is very, very loose. He did not make a pit stop. He didn't want to give up that track position. He's going to ride it out. He'll others make pit stops too.
Rudd goes to the inside of Schrader and picks up that position. The green car to the inside is Robert Presley.
And Ward Burton goes in the corner on the outside of him. We saw what happened to Nemechek.
He was on thin ice.
He was very thin ice, but fortunately it held him up. He's just a slight guy. He's light, about 130, 140 pounds. So.
All right, Jerry Punch has more on the Robert Presley story.
Guys, 12 days ago, Robert Presley came here to Darlington and ran laps at over 170 miles per hour. Now, when they got ready to qualify the other day, they blew the engine and it got only 3 laps of practice, and now he moves beneath Kenny Schrader and Ward Burton follows him by. But he didn't get a good qualifying effort because he had only got 3 laps of practice. Even with 3 laps, he qualified in the top 10. He said, if our car runs like it did last week in testing, we will be at the front in the first 35 laps, and he is headed that way right now.
Running in 5th position. Positions changing behind him as Ken Schrader is out of the group.
Yeah, he got up high. A lot of cars went by him. Farther back in the field, Darrell Waltrip lost another about 8 or 10 positions as he got in the high groove too. So some cars not working too well here, and as a result, they're heading towards the back.
We saw Derek Cope in the straight arrow car. There he is, right behind Rusty Wallace. Mark Schrader has moved back in front of Morgan Shepherd. Schrader's in the 11th spot right now.
And Darrell Waltrip continues to go to the back of the field.
But Darrell Waltrip, he used the word patience. He understands this racetrack, and you just can't push it. If your car isn't right, you simply got to back off and wait for a pit stop and make that adjustment. Right, John Kernan?
You're exactly right, Benny Parsons. In fact, they are getting up on the wall. His crew ready to go to work. We expect Darrell to come onto pit road next time by. The stop sign is out. Darrell has been on the radio. And you look.
Here comes, guys.
That was a spotter telling that Darrell Waltrip's coming on pit road.
Here's John.
It'll be a 4-tire change. What Darrell has been telling his crew, he thinks he possibly has a flat tire, a tire going down. So not taking any chances, they will change all 4 tires.
Peter's going through turns 3 and 4 now. He's been by us once. Watch your pit lane speed.
The spotters constantly remind their driver to watch that pit lane speed, which is 55 miles an hour.
And he's going to lose a lap as Jeff Gordon, 2 laps actually, as Gordon goes by.
And Presley spins up to turn 1. And he's coming off the racetrack, and here comes the other cars, and Robert Presley.
After moving up to 5th and having such a good run in the early going, spins and hits the wall in turn 1, but we do not see a caution as Presley continues around the racetrack.
He was going down in turn 1 all by himself, and just like Joe Nemechek, the back end around he went. And we can see the damage as he backs into the wall.
We caught the tail end of the crash. Here it is.
See, it's already sideways, and the back end, as Benny mentioned, hits the outside wall, but he does come back across the racetrack. Another crash.
And it's done in turn 1, and Chuck Bound has hit the wall extremely hard going down in turn 1.
Bound making his first appearance in a NASCAR Winston Cup event since June of 1994 when he was injured in a crash at Pocono International Raceway in Pennsylvania. And now his race has been affected by this incident. The car is stopped between turns 1 and 2, and for the 3rd time this afternoon, the caution is out.
Tough break for Darrell Waltrip because he made that pit stop on green flag and lost a couple of laps. Now it'll be interesting to see if others come in.
And you can see the black mark of Chuck Bound's car. The right front tire is flat, Ned. You see the left front is sliding. That's the black mark, and the right side is flat. That's why that it doesn't leave that distinctive black mark.
We see him moving around in there. Let's hope he's okay. Here is the replay.
And we can see that something has happened to the car. The right front's flat, and into the wall he goes, and Jerry punch.
As you watch that debris go up in the air, what happened right in front of us? I was standing here. Chuck Bound came down the front straightaway. I heard a loud boom, followed by a second boom, and began to see sheet metal ripping from beneath the car. The right front tire went down, and he somersaulted up or leaned up against the wall. Pit stops now become the order of the day. You look entirely down pit road and see all the cars on the lead lap are in their pits. Jeff Gordon, our pole sitter leader. Everyone expected to get 4 tires. Right side tires already on Gordon's DuPont Chevrolet. They go to the left side. You just got a glimpse of Earnhardt just now getting into his pits. Left side tires on, the 4 cars down, Kerry Labonte down. It's a race out of the pits, and Gordon, Labonte, and Marlin, 1, 2, 3.
And everybody else now coming out as they finish up work on Dale Earnhardt's car. Back with more from Darlington in a moment. Welcome back to Darlington, South Carolina, ESPN's live coverage of the Transouth Financial 400. We're under our 3rd caution of the day, and the most recent one was caused by an incident involving Chuck Bound. Here's Bill Weber.
Well, Chuck, we're glad to see you back, but we're not happy to see you here. What happened?
I really wanted to finish this race. I was optimistic, and the car was running pretty good, even though we started way back. But about 3/4 of the way down the front straightaway, the right front tire just exploded like a bomb. I feel sure I run over something, and it just bursted. You're carrying so much speed here, I was on the brake as hard as I could, but it still hit the first turn wall pretty hard. It's just an unfortunate deal, but we're a good race team. We're still looking for sponsorship. We're available. We'll be back. We'll be at Bristol next week.
Chuck Bound's okay. Let's go to John Kernan with Robert Presley.
Robert Presley is also okay, but as you can see, his Chevrolet Monte Carlo is backed into the wall pretty severely, bent the rear end down. The crew, Charlie Presley and the crew, are working on it. Robert has climbed out of the car. And Robert, what happened down there? Did you run into something on the track?
Yeah, we're just riding there. Charlie and Leo told me, said, we're as fast as the leaders, catching them. And I went off in there, and I noticed the 10 car checked up there a little bit early and started going high. And so I was just rolling on the low side, and, it felt like just somebody dropped something out there on the track. Car went so fast, I didn't know what happened.
Bob?
All right, so Presley will wait until repairs are made on his car. Here's a replay once again of Chuck Bound's incident.
Once again, the right front tire goes flat.
And look at this flying up in the air there.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what he ran over and cut that tire.
Could very well have been, Ed. You're right.
All right, we will not go green this time around, so we'll take another break and be back with more in just a moment. Stay with us. You won't believe what is happening at Darlington. There are Rusty Wallace and Mark Martin with extremely damaged race cars. It happened as the field was coming down for the green. These guys had not even crossed the line yet, and Michael Waltrip slid into them. We'll have to watch the replay to see exactly what happened. Rusty is out of his car. Here is a replay as the cars came down to take the green flag. There you can see Mark Martin is signaling he's okay, so both drivers are in good shape. What in the world happened here?
I don't know. You'll see the yellow car come in there. It looks like Mark might have got in the back of the 30 car and turned Michael sideways. I don't know. I don't know if...
Take another look from another angle.
I believe that Mark got in the back of the 30 car.
Maybe the 30 car of Michael Waltrip didn't get off to quite as good a start as Mark thought he would or something. And we'll take another look from the blimp.
Yeah, overhead may give us a better perspective here. Now, we couldn't see the contact and what happened, but there is Waltrip sideways, and both Rusty and Mark collected and into the front stretch wall.
And you know, that's the restart. They're probably running 80 or 90 miles an hour when that happened, and we can see the damage to these cars. It's amazing.
Well, there are two guys who, of course, like everyone else, have title hopes for this year. Mark Martin, third in the standings going into this race, 89 behind. And Rusty Wallace had moved up to 11th position before this race, but I don't know, it doesn't look good for him.
Hold the wheel straight as you can, and we'll look at the toe.
You're hoping that Michael was talking his crew.
Find out why they said that. I need to know. It's too soon.
Coming in the back pits.
Oh, well, we had to pit soon. We're wrecked. The toe, I wouldn't worry about. I'd get the car fixed first. Hey, make sure we ain't got too many. I'm just looking at it. Wouldn't raise that hood. Toe isn't too bad. Get the fenders out. Make sure that rear bumper cover ain't gonna fly off. It is taking off. Here comes the pace car. There goes. Come on back. Get some tape ready for that back bumper. Somebody needs to be counting here. It looks like there's 50 guys out here.
So he's talking about the pit road rule. Only 7 men can go across the wall. That's what Doug Gibb was telling him.
Here's John Kernan with both Mark and Rusty.
Well, Rusty being talked to right now, so we'll switch over here to Mark. And Mark, the only way as I saw that happen, and Rusty, it was just a mess. What happened out there?
I'm not really sure. They started, they took off, and then slammed the brakes on, and the wreck was on then. I really couldn't, you know, all I can tell you is the 30 car was in front of me, and he took off and slammed the brakes on, and I ran in the back of him, and the wreck was on. I don't know.
Is that what you saw too, Rusty?
That's about what I saw. It's just I know the 3 or 4 cars looked like they just stopped right in front of Mark, and he had to lock the brakes up and couldn't do nothing with it. And then I tried to get away from everybody, and it was just got collected. You know, I went to the bottom and tried to get around when I saw it happening, but that was about it. Just a racing deal.
Now, when you guys were walking back over toward me, you were laughing at each other. What was that all about?
He told me he was going to go home and fly his airplane.
He just bought himself a new airplane. I said, screw this deal. Let's just go and fly our planes. And I know we can do about it. We worked our rear ends off, and a silly thing happened. You know, the back straightaway pit area, there was a couple cars that got out real fast, and that was a bad deal. And bad accident because of it. But hey, we learn something every day. That was it. It's over.
Well, it's great to see that they're both okay, Bob.
Boy, it must be safer up in the air than it is. Look at the side of Mark Martin's car. It is gone.
Wow. I did that one time at Rockingham with the right side on. I ripped the roll bars off as well.
And won the championship.
Yeah. Here it is from Mark's in-car.
Man.
He seems to provide some unbelievable in-car shots during crashes. That almost compares with his ride at Talladega that he took last May. In any case, Martin and Wallace have crashed here at Darlington. Michael Waltrip has made another pit stop on the backstretch. There is one more lap to go.
Turn 1. Your speed.
They're telling him.
Okay, Michael, you shouldn't have any problem catching them.
The field is in turn 1. As
All right,
Michael
make them
accelerates.
tape patches up and have them tape the school box so when we need them, so they don't get all dirty, so they work. And then be ready, Mike.
He's still in the lead lap.
That was Terry Smith, the spotter, telling that where the field was located down in turn 1, said you'll be able to catch him, no problem.
All right, now let's take a look at the crash once again with a half a lap until green.
They're coming down to take the green, and I don't know who up in front did not get a good start.
Yeah, there's some of these cars right there. Ricky Rudd and the 4 car of Sterling Marlin, some of those were sort of jammed up in front of Michael Waltrip, and I guess he checked up to keep from hitting them, and when he did, Mark Martin was already barreling down on him and hit him. Didn't expect him to check up.
The most cautions for a 400-mile race here at Darlington, 5, and we have had 4 already. Here comes the green flag to resume the competition on lap number 35. Make that 34.
The green car on the inside, Mike Wallace.
We should mention that the leader of the race, as there's contact between Labonte and Morgan Shepherd. The leader of the race is Jeremy Mayfield, the very first time he has ever led a NASCAR Winston Cup race, according to our statistics.
And there we see Jeff on the inside of Billy Standridge in 47.
And here's Jeff Bodine. He's in second place. No, he is. Yes, he's in second place. He did not make a pit stop.
Jeff trying to go inside of Wallace.
Cale Yarborough, of course, owns Jeremy Mayfield's car, and Cale Yarborough is one of the most successful drivers ever here at the Darlington Raceway.
They've got Mike Wallace on the outside as Morgan Shepherd goes in that turn 3 side by side with him.
Mike Wallace is a couple of laps down already.
Yeah, he's in 35th, Ned, 2 laps down.
Not over here. Not over here.
That was Morgan Shepherd did her.
Looks okay.
Evidently, Morgan has made contact with someone. The spotter was telling him that his car is okay.
I think it was Bobby Labonte. Now Sterling Marlin tries to work to the inside of Billy Standridge for 3rd position. Standridge running 3rd, then Marlin, Labonte, and Rudd.
Well, this is a good day in the sun for Billy Standridge. Staying out on the track and getting to run up front here. Didn't make a pit stop, but showing the world that he can run well with the World Wrestling Association as his sponsor.
CW.
Here we see Terry Labonte, the Kellogg's car, down on the inside of Standridge. Man, makes me nervous here. You notice that, didn't you?
And when the cars behind see Standridge or whoever go to that upper lane, they just dive to the bottom and go around also.
I think Ned Jarrett is right. It's almost like Talladega. Then we see the Hardy's car of Ward Burton behind Morgan Shepherd.
There goes Dale Jarrett to the inside of Ken Schrader.
Well, I held my breath there too because he passed Ricky Craven going into turn 3 and then past Schrader coming out of turn 4.
Craven trying to work around Schrader.
Back to the lead. Jeremy Mayfield still leading this thing, and Jeff Bodine is second. Now Jeff Gordon, our pole sitter, has caught this duel, but Ned, that tells us that the tire today is a very good tire. Jeremy Mayfield still competitive.
After 39 laps, they're completing 40 laps right now, and so yes, the speed is holding up good. And that's what all the drivers said when they came down here and tested. Said, fans, you're not going to believe how those speeds will stay up. Not like in the past. After about 10 laps, it'd fall off about a second or second and a half a lap. Holding the speed good.
2 Fords up front, and Gordon, Chevy in 3rd.
Well, one of the rare times that Ford's been leading this year.
Jeff Bodine looking for the opportunity to get into the lead. Dale Earnhardt, meanwhile, is moving up through some traffic back in the pack. Todd Bodine will be the next that he will try to pass.
Oh, there's Jeff Bodine takes the lead, the Exide battery car.
And that's the first Bodine to lead a lap this year in NASCAR Mystery Cup competition, if he does indeed lead when he gets back here to the start-finish line, which it looks like he will. That's what counts.
And Jeff Gordon is tugging over that second spot. And he has. When Jeff Bodine crossed that white line, he's credited with leading the lap.
Yeah, the laps are scored just out of the fourth corner where the scorers are. So that's where the 5 points are awarded.
Now the battle back to the caution flag and all that stuff is judged at the start-finish line, but not leading the laps.
Let's see how Dale Earnhardt is doing. He's back in 16th position.
This year. He took up points following Todd Bodine.
Up front, Jeff Gordon puts a little pressure on Jeff Bodine. And we're also seeing some pressure applied to Jeremy Mayfield by Sterling Marlin back there in fourth. Sterling goes to the bottom of the racetrack. Oh, nope, decided against it.
Yeah, he figured he's going to have too much speed to be that low on the racetrack coming off of turn 4, and that was not going to be smart.
Here are Todd Bodine and Dale Earnhardt moving around Ricky Craven in the fourth turn.
And there's Elliott. And looks like Craven might have a problem.
Indeed. He has dropped a lot of position in the last 4 or 5 laps.
And here now is Sterling Marlin to the inside. Can he make it? No! Yes!
Wow!
He forced Mayfield out of position just enough going into the third turn that he was able to take over the spot. So now it's Gordon trying still to take the lead away from Jeff Bodine. As Sterling Marlin has moved to third, with Mayfield fourth and Terry Labonte fifth after 44. 293 laps. You feel like it's just a matter of time until Gordon can take over the spot, but Jeff is doing a great job holding him off. So that's the way it is right now. We're going to take a break and see how it is in a minute or two when you rejoin us at Darlington International Raceway. Well, a nice job by Jeff Bodine of holding off Jeff Gordon as long as he could. But Gordon has passed him and gone into the lead. And now Sterling Marlin is right on the rear bumper of that number 7 car.
We see that Jeff Gordon has pulled away 3 or 4 car lengths just in 1 lap. As here comes Sterling Marlin on the inside. Oh, and he and Jeff Bodine make contact. Woo. Sterling Marlin pulled up just a little too soon. They made contact, and both of them almost spun out.
Here's Bill Weber with more on Jeff Bodine.
Well, this team is thrilled with their performance so far. From 27 to 7 in just 40 laps. They only took 2 tires on a pit stop to do that, but they could use something to lift their spirits. In the last month, they lost a couple of crewmen. They had one of the administrators leave. The other day, they had a mechanic working on their car. A wrench slipped. He had to get 5 stitches to close a gash above his right eye. But right now, they're very happy with the way they're running, and they'd like to hang on. Of course, they're at a disadvantage. They're pitting on the backstretch here at Darlington.
He continues to hang on to third at the moment, but Terry Labonte is right there now.
You see the hood on Labonte's car moving around. It's like he's got a vibration or something on that car.
Talk about Labonte. Here's the Labonte that's moving up through the pack is Bobby Labonte. He is now being shown in the 8th position. He came out of the pits in about 12th or 13th, and he has moved up through the pack.
Also here, Jeremy Mayfield, of course, in the 98, and Ward Burton in 31. There you see that Labonte started 11th, and his progress up to 8th position.
Bobby has sort of been battling the flu the last several days. Was feeling real bad yesterday, but he's doing a good job here today.
And there is Dale Jarrett, who is in 11th position after starting back in 26th. So Things going well for Dale Jarrett. There are the statistics on him. Dropped back to 27th at the end of 10 laps, and then has moved up to 11th.
Dale had a poor qualifying effort, and as a result had to pit on the backstretch. But on that yellow flag pit stop, when everybody stopped, he picked up about 5 positions on some of those that were pitting on the front stretch. So it's not as bad as it used to now that they speed the pace car up after they drop off those pitting on the front stretch.
John Kernan is with Ricky Craven.
Ricky has won 3 of the last 4 Rookie of the Race awards, but Ricky, you're here in the garage area today and they're working on the engine. Is that the problem?
Yeah, you know, we dropped the cylinder or worse. I'm not sure. Kodiak Chevrolet team has been working so hard, and I feel bad for them. You know, they deserve better than this, but we took it on the chin today. We'll go to Bristol.
Bob?
So Craven, another victim, not necessarily of a crash, but he too is in the garage area.
New crew chief on board with that team.
Rick Wren is crew chief now in the Kodiak car. Got to see Ricky Rudd. Derek Cope. Oh my goodness, there's Ken's in the middle of a sandwich between Todd Bodine and Ken Schrader. And Dick Trickle.
An excellent decision by Steve to back out.
Yes, it was.
Here's Jerry.
And Kenny Schrader has been complaining that he has gotten a vibration in the Budweiser Chevrolet that's gotten considerably worse. That's why he has backed out and has now dropped out of the top 10 and running back in 14th position. He rides high on the racetrack, and you see Todd Bodine make a move beneath him in the car number 75, and Dick Trickle will follow him through. Kenny Schrader once again complaining of a vibration. Ken House said we hope it's just an equalized tire and not something in the engine. Back upstairs.
All right.
You know, the Hendrick cars have been complaining then of vibrations. Jeff Gordon, the both races that he's won this year, both times he complained of a vibration. And a little bit ago, I saw the hood on the 5 car really dancing around. And now it doesn't look that way. I don't know if it was air a while ago, but the hood was just dancing like it had a vibration as well.
It could have been now. Could have been the fact that it was running close to another car at that time. It could have been the air off of it that was causing that. But you're right. Jeff Gordon has definitely had the vibration problem in some races. It hasn't affected his running, or certainly not affected the winning, but it's something that you try to get a handle on, and certainly they've looked, but just haven't been able to find it.
Right behind Terry Labonte is a group of cars. Ricky Rudd leading them. Derek Cope is there, also with Bobby Labonte and Ward Burton.
That's 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Looking at the back of Ricky Rudd's car. Derek Cope.
Almost a 2-second lead for Jeff Gordon over Sterling Marlin, and a 6.5-second lead over Ricky Rudd, who was running in 5th. As Rudd passes by Loy Allen in the 27 car.
And we can see that Derek Cope is caught in behind the Loy Allen car. Look as Rudd is just driving away, and they're 3 abreast behind him.
They're splitting Loy Allen as Ward goes to the outside, Bobby to the inside, and now Morgan Shepherd goes high around Loy Allen in turn 3.
And Dale Jarrett tries to get by the 98 car of Jeremy Mayfield. Well, this racetrack is so difficult when you put traffic out there. It's not easy by yourself out here. On Friday, 15 cars hit the wall in practice and qualifying. 15 cars.
Yeah, the new pavement has certainly not changed her in terms of being cantankerous, because she has already claimed several victims today, and we've got 232 laps to go in this race as we show you an Autolite field summary where everyone is running at the present time.
All those cars still in the lead lap. As a matter of fact, right now there's 31 cars still in the lead lap.
We will be back with our live coverage here at Darlington in a moment. Jeff Gordon is leading at the moment over Sterling Marlin. Stay with us. just couldn't ask for a more beautiful day, but not for Jeremy Mayfield as he scrapes the wall in 3.
And NASCAR's looking, they still haven't thrown the caution flag. Oh, and Todd Bodine about crashes as he came off turn 4.
Nice save by Todd as he took evasive action getting around Mayfield. Now Jeremy drops to the inside of the track, and that's where he should be. No caution. So after leading and after running up front for so long, Mayfield had begun to drop back and now scrapes the wall and drives to his pit. Here's a replay.
Dale Earnhardt was trying to pass him for the last several laps. Let's see if Mayfield just gets loose as Earnhardt comes up on him. There goes Dale Jarrett on the inside as Mayfield stays up against the wall.
And here we see Todd Bodine. Watch Todd Bodine as he tries to turn away from Dick Trickle and about spun out.
Yep.
They were all trying to dodge the slowing car of Jeremy Mayfield.
There we see trying to get the jack under the car. Bill Weber.
Well, they're changing 4 tires. Jeremy radioed into the car and just got loose on him. Now he has a question about whether or not he may have broken a brake line in that contact with the wall. They've changed the tires. Now they're going to come around and do the left side, having a little trouble with the left side front tire. They get the jack up. 2 tires go on the left side. And this is very disappointing for Jeremy Mayfield. His first ever laps led in a Winston Cup race. Now the car has stopped, and the Winston Cup officials want them to go back and look at the right front tire. There's some smoke coming out from underneath the hood on that side. They go to work on the radio, the jack going over there, and the hood's going to go up on the RCA Ford.
Closer examination needed on the RCA.
She's on fire.
Oh, we have a fire under the right front car.
The brake fluid is caught on fire. The tire's on fire. Bill, what's going on?
Well, they're kicking out the brake rotors. They've got a fire extinguisher over there. They've extinguished the flames. Now the crew looking underneath, and obviously a lengthy stop, very disappointing. Fire is out, and the day may be short for Jeremy Mayfield.
Meanwhile, back out on the racetrack, the 9th and 10th place runners are Dale Jarrett and Dale Earnhardt.
Earnhardt had passed Dale a number of laps ago, and then here comes Dale back by Dale.
The Dale and Dale show, Ned.
Again.
Dale Jarrett moving up quickly in that Haviland Ford. Started 26th. At lap 25, he was 18th, and now is up to 9th. Bill?
Bob, about 20 laps ago, Dale radioed in that the Haviland Ford was just a tick loose. Then he called in just a couple of laps ago saying it's getting a little looser. That sent Larry McReynolds to work. They're going to add 2 pounds of air pressure to the left front tire at half around a wedge when he comes in.
We will look for that as Earnhardt, meanwhile, sneaks in on Jarrett a little bit.
And they're closing in on Morgan Shepherd, the Citgo Ford. And I got to give a call to Ward Burton, the Harney's car. He's been able to get by Bobby Labonte and Ricky and the crash. He gets together with Kinzer, and Bobby Labonte's hit and run. He's crashing in the back straightaway.
3 or 4 car crash, and still Ricky Rudd is taking hits out there. I believe there are more cars. Well, the visibility back there in the backstretch is practically zero, and a whole bunch of cars coming down, but I think that the worst of it is over.
Oh, man, oh, man.
Morgan Shepherd, Dale Jarrett, and Dale Earnhardt had to really all get on the brakes and get slowed down, but they did make it through. So we're riding with Morgan there right now.
Well, Rudd's car is a mess.
Yeah, we can see the heavy steam smoke coming out of that car.
Steve Kinzer drives away. Here is a replay.
Ward Burton and Kinzer get together. Kinzer turns back across the racetrack, and Ward Burton hits Rudd and turns him directly into the wall. And we see the 18 car spinning out. He hasn't hit anything so far. I don't know how much damage that Labonte will have. He goes down to hit the wall then.
He comes awfully close. I couldn't tell if the front end got against the wall or not, Benny. But pit stops are taking place right now. Let's go to the pits and Jerry Punch.
And 3 of the top 4 cars are pitting here within a few pits of each other. You're watching the triple split. 24, 4, and 5. The 5 on the bottom of your screen, Kellogg Chevrolet, getting right side tires. Likewise, they've already put right sides on the lead car. 24 of Jeff Gordon, left side tires going on the Kodak Chevrolet of our Daytona 500. When there's going to be a race out of the pits, as the 5 is still in. Here's the 24 and the 4, and it'll be Gordon first, then Marlin, and now Terry Labonte, 23.8 seconds. Labonte having a little bit of trouble with the left side tires.
Here's John Kern in the back pits.
Derek Cope leaves his pit stall after a 4-tire change. This was a caution period that they really needed. We had noticed Derek, after running in the top 10, had started drifting backwards. His car had gotten very, very loose, so they changed 4 tires, sticker tires, and they added 1 round of fight. Let's go to the backstretch now, and Bill Weber.
Jeff Bodine has come and gone. It was 4 tires for the Exide 4. Now they're working on the Haviland 4. They've already added a round of wedge. The right side tires are on. The fuel is in. Tightening the lug nuts on the left side. The jack is down. Dale Sherritt back trying to gain valuable position out of the pits.
Here on the front stretch, meanwhile, Bobby Labonte is in. Doesn't look like, Benny, there's any damage on that car, but he sure tore up the tires.
There's some damage on the right rear of the car. John, is there damage on the right side?
Benny, on the right side of the car, I can't see. I'm on the left side. You can see that better, but from the left side, things look all right. Jimmy Maycar's telling them the only thing Bobby mentioned on his way to pit road was that he had spun and blown the tires. I can see some of the crew members working in that left, or the right front tire, and they're pulling the sheet metal away, so it looks like sheet metal damage for Bobby Labonte as he pulls away. We'll have to check and see if maybe something like the toe end had been knocked out.
Well, he was in for over 46 seconds while they assessed the damage to that. Let's take a look at this incident again, which occurred as the cars came off of corner 2.
What happened? Steve Kinzer has moved over to let these guys go by, and Ward Burton, you know, was anxious. He wanted to get by Steve Kinzer. He goes to the inside. They make contact, and Burton hits the 10 car, knocks him in the wall. And I think the 18 there just blew some tires as he spun and trying to get back to the pits. The tires did all the damage.
Yeah, I think that was the problem with him. And as a result, Bobby Labonte lost a lap when he came in for his pit stop. Ricky Rudd thought he was through that. Wow, pretty hard licks there on the inside. He thought at one time he was through that, and then a car spun and hit him from the inside and shot him right around.
And Labonte is back on pit road as Ricky Rudd stays in his car while it is hauled back to the garage area in pitiful shape. We'll be back in just a moment to Darlington. Providing the overhead shots for us today here at Darlington, the Family Channel Blimp, currently in the area as part of its 95 nationwide tour dedicated to promoting the power of family by using the blimp to support charitable organizations involved with special needs of children and families. That is the view that it has over the racetrack. Here's Dr. Jerry Punch.
Well, we're continuing on the front of the Hardy Chevrolet, or what's left of the front of this Chevrolet. Ward Burton has worked his way into the top 5, and Ward, a moment ago, we saw some contact between you and Kinzer. What happened?
Kinzer probably thought I was up above him. Of course, he's a lap car, and we got in there side by side and coming out the corner full throttle, and I think he pulled down a little bit. I know he's trying to learn, but it was a heck of a way to go out running the top 5, but hopefully we'll be back next week.
Well, they're going to try to fix it today. What the noise you hear in the background are the hydraulic chisels that they cut away some of the sheet metal of this Hardy Chevrolet. His chance at a victory is over, but they hope to get out and finish the race and accumulate some valuable points. Bob?
This is our 5th caution period of the day, tying a record for the most in a 400-mile race here at Darlington, established back in 1967 and last year in '94. We'll be right back. We remain under caution here at Darlington. We'll show you a Fram field summary as the pace car still has the field in tow. They were going to go green this time around, but it has been waved off. So we'll go at least one more time before we get the green flag.
One of the NASCAR safety trucks down on pit road, entering where you enter pit road on turn 4. See him there with the light going? So that's a situation they need to rectify.
And Bill Weber was with Larry McReynolds.
Jared made an extra pit stop. Larry McReynolds, how's the Ford?
Well, it was really good. We worked our way up to about 7th place, you know.
I think us and the 7 car showed that pitting back here necessarily in a disadvantage. But in that wreck, we run over some debris and blowed the right front tire. Finally, it disintegrated and just tore part of the fender away. We just wanted to make sure the fender was right.
And they did that work. The wreck he's talking about involved Ricky Rudd, and he's with John Kernan.
Well, Ricky Rudd has climbed from the Tide Ford. And Ricky, a lot of damage to the car. What happened out there, and are you going to be able to get back out?
Well, I don't think so. It doesn't look like it had busted the engine. It hit so hard, and you know, it's just a shame. Darlington, it's new pavement. It's very fast, but I guess a lot of guys out there are not used to running Darlington, and they're not driving Darlington and using the sense they're supposed to, and that's why we see these nonsense type wrecks today.
Well, Ricky Rudd is behind the wall. One car that is rejoining it is Rusty Wallace. Guys, unbelievably, he just pulled back out onto the racetrack.
Yeah, he was involved in this crash here on the front stretch with Mark Martin, but they have a sufficient amount of tape on that car to put it back out there. As we watch Michael Waltrip get set.
He was in that wreck with Rusty Wallace, and he's still in the lead lap. Was able to get his car going. He's 22nd spot.
Go.
The spotter telling Michael Waltrip the green is out. Go.
Be careful.
But be careful. He can't
say that.
Gordon and Marlin have just taken off from the rest of the field.
Well, they did get a big lead on that start.
Morgan Shepherd looks at Dale Earnhardt as they come off the second corner.
Earnhardt is 5th, Shepherd 6th.
Bobby Labonte is right behind them, but Bobby did lose a lap. He didn't get back to the pits. The pace car was coming off the turn 4s. He was coming into the pits. So he lost a lap, but he had flat tires and couldn't go on around.
He made several pit stops to check out that car during the caution and is a lap down in 25th. Waltrip on the high side of Billy Standridge and Jeff Bodine also. Steve Kinzer is still out on the racetrack. He was involved in that incident that took Ricky Rudd out of the race. Here's a pack of cars.
There's Dick Trickle, Derek Cope, Davy Jones in the white 77.
Bill Elliott.
Yes, that's Elliott in the red car. John Andretti in the white 37. Tom Bodine.
Boy, a lot of close racing.
This is about 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th.
Oh, a crash going off the second corner.
Jeff Burton is involved in this one. A couple of cars going to the inside.
Maybe Spencer is involved in it.
Lake Speed.
Yeah,
Lake
28
Speed,
is involved in it.
Well, this is a crash fest. Not a whole lot of damage to the Ford.
This is Darlington. This is vintage. Oh, they're still crashing.
Okay, the track will be clear when you get back around clear.
Listening to Michael Waltrip again. There's a damage on the Haviland Ford. Looks pretty significant, Ned.
Yeah, that's pretty serious damage there. And that's one of the problems when they had the problem there before and got way back in the pack. Because Larry McReynolds said they'd worked their place up, actually worked their way up to 6th place. But as they come off of turn 2, we're going to see Jimmy Spencer move on the inside of, who's that?
Jeff Burton, I believe.
Jeff Burton, yeah, okay. And then Dale Jarrett and Lake Speed moved down to try to go around them, and they made contact. And so,
is that Michael Waltrip going through there?
He went right through the middle, just like a field goal.
That was close.
3 points for Michael because he went right through the middle. No, Bob, this really is vintage Darlington.
Yeah,
this is like Darlington. It's always.
I was going to say, we haven't seen this kind of crashing, though, for several years.
Well, here's another replay, isn't it? Coming off the corner, and we see Dale Jarrett and Lake Speed together. And watch Michael Waltrip as they're spinning. Zap right through the middle.
Just opened right up for it.
And Bobby Hamilton.
Yeah. Bobby Hamilton also did a good job of evasive driving there to.
I just heard Doug Hewitt on the radio say
they're going to spend all day taking it off. So, well, Doug, just remember it aerodynamically it won't make a shit if it ain't on there. So, last thing we wanted to do is get black flagged over it. Here he is.
He talked about changing the air pressure, half pound. I heard him just.
Just remember, nobody else can go over except for who's over there. So when you're done, Rambo, put your tire in yourself. Darren, you take that flap off.
Michael Walter in the pits, making a pit stop.
The 28 car has been black flagged. He is headed toward his pit on the backstretch.
He was just trying to catch up to the field as well as he could before he came in.
Jeff Burton and Lake Speed, who were also involved in that crash, are on pit road. Burton begins to move away here on the front stretch as we watch Michael and others pit on the backstretch. Now here it is from Michael's perspective. This ought to be good.
Water's just parted, and he just drove right through.
That was lucky for Michael Waltrip. He still sits in his pit area, however, in the backstretch. He'll be back in a moment. But let's take a look at what happened just a few laps ago in turn 2.
Big wreck, big wreck. That's what happened coming off turn 2 as Jimmy Spencer and Jeff Burton get together. There they start spinning. And Dale Jarrett and Lake Speed get together trying to dodge the wreck.
There's so much smoke that you really can't decide where to go. And Michael Waltrip and others were just lucky to point their cars in the right direction.
Here's another angle as once again, very right side of the screen. There the crash starts. There we see Jarrett and Speed get together.
John Kernan is down in the pit area. John?
Updating you on Jeff Burton and Lake Speed. First of all, Lake Speed is back in the garage. They're going to have to put a brake rotor on the car. He has no brakes. Donnie Richardson and the crew just sent Jeff Burton back out onto the track. He has the hinge on the rear deck lid has broken, so they've had to strap that down. His car is also bent, twisted in a number of different shapes, but he is back out there on the racetrack. Now let's check in with Bill Weber on the backstretch.
Heavy damage for Dale Jarrett. They've removed the hood. They're taking off the front clip. There's a hole in the radiator. The radiator hose is broken. Heavy sheet metal work being done. Let's go to Jerry Punch.
Meanwhile, back up front, they're playing Let's Make a Deal. Now, Tony Glover, Sterling Marlin's crew chief, came down to the Gordon pit and asked Ray Evernham, hey, you and I have the best cars out here. Now, we can run ourselves into the ground, but if you'll let us lead a lap and get 5 bonus points, we'll fall back behind you. Gordon apparently agreed, so when they take the green flag, watch it a couple laps and see if the 4 car goes by to lead 1 lap.
Bobby Labonte trying to get a lap back.
And he does, and that little deal would help Bobby Labonte, because if Gordon does let the 4 car by, that would help Bobby Labonte.
I thought I saw some damage on the 24 car a moment ago on the left front, but I don't see anything there. Dave Marcus, 71 car, with Terramine sponsor this week, off the pace, slow down in 3 and 4.
He was on the lead lap, by the way.
I guess that's the back pits, actually.
Yep. Well, Gordon continues to lead.
He hasn't let Sterling Marlin go yet. Of course, Sterling hadn't got up there. He's closing up the challenge.
He's got to catch him first, Ned, isn't he?
Right.
Here's Ken Schrader, Derek Cope, Bobby Hamilton. They're back in 15th, 16th, and 17th, and another wreck.
And Terry Labonte saved that car. He came off the wall, and how in the world? And Jeff 09, heavy damage to the front of his car as he heads towards the pit. There he is going toward the pit. How in the world, Ed, did Labonte save that car?
I don't know. He made a run on Jeff coming off of turn 4, we'll see in a replay, and was dipping down on the inside of him. And
they were
battling
for the 3rd position when that occurred. Here it is.
Okay, we'll see that Terry has a good run. Jeff goes up a little bit. Terry jumps down on the inside. They make contact at the rear. Bodine goes into the wall, and Terry gets it completely sideways, but yet saves it.
That was unbelievable. And what happened is Labonte went in and just lost the back end, and when he saved it,
And hey, we don't have a caution, folks, but Jeff Ledine's in the pits and Bill Weber's there.
4 tire change, right side, right front damage to the X-side Ford. Also damage on the left front. They're pulling the sheet metal away from all 4 tires, working extra hard on the right front tire. Now they're going to take some tools over there. We've got another caution on the front stretch. Back upstairs.
And now Labonte does wreck here on the front stretch.
He's going to help his brother. Bobby Labonte is still out in front of Jeff Gordon, and so he's going to get back in the lead lap.
There's Labonte's car to the inside of the racetrack, and here comes his brother leading them down to get his lap back. And another caution flag, the 6th of the day. Terry Labonte, meanwhile, drives off in the Kellogg's number 5.
Wow.
I hope you don't have an airplane to catch too soon after this.
Man, no, sir. No, sirree. I'll be right here till this is over.
Wouldn't miss it.
Man, the slowest 400-mile race, by the way, 124.4. Here is Labonte's crash.
That's what's left of it. He's just spun coming off the 4th corner. I don't know what happened.
He told his crew something broke on the race car. Anyway, the slowest race at 400-miler here at Darlington, 124.4, and the average speed right now is 111.6.
He cannot get back to the front pits. He's trying to get back to the pits so he can work on the car, and we can see he's bailing out of the thing.
Yeah, this is over off the backstretch, over off turn 2 in the backstretch. So Terry Labonte has been eliminated from contention here today as the contenders go by the race side. Just a beautiful spring day here and an enthusiastic crowd watching the Transouth Financial 400, which has been filled with crashes. Wow. And a little bit of activity above the racetrack too, huh?
He doesn't have a motor.
And there is the blimp shot overhead of Darlington.
And John Kernan is with Terry Labonte, John.
Terry just climbed out of his car. And Terry, the first question, I saw you come out of turn 4 the first time. How did you save it the first time?
I don't know. Something broke on it, and I thought I just got loose and lost it, and something, I guess, broke. So I slowed down there and started running again. I tried to run hard again and did the same thing. So I don't know what it was.
But he has climbed out of the car. Okay, now they're going to put a new rear end and some other things. What all are you going to change on the car to try and get it back out?
Yeah, it tore up an awful lot on it.
And you can just hear the disappointment and feel the disappointment emanating from Terry Labonte down here as Gary Dehart and the crew will go to work and try and get the car repaired and back out on the track.
Labonte 4th in points, had registered 3 top 10 finishes in 1995. Well, coming up after our coverage of this race, Bill Elliott is the featured guest on Shop Talk with your host Eli Gold. That's coming up next, right after our coverage of the Transouth Financial 400. Pace car heads for the pit area. There is Bill Elliott in the 94 car. He's running in 8th position as we're about to go back to racing. It's still Jeff Gordon up front with Sterling Marlin 2nd and Dale Earnhardt 3rd. Morgan Shepherd is 4th. And in the 5th position, it's Steve Grissom.
In the 22 car, Randy LaJoy in BNA credit card on the inside. He is 1 lap down.
We'll try to get it back right here.
And we see the 6th place car is Kyle Petty.
That's amazing. Kyle started what, 38?
Started way back there. Yep. He's up in 6th spot.
Hard race. Been able to dodge all that trouble.
Kyle Petty, there you see, started 38th. By the 54th lap was up to 22nd. That is his progression up to his current 6th place.
He's right behind Grissom, and that's the family pedal car. Ted Musgrave right behind. Musgrave crashed here Friday in practice, but they were able to repair the car, the same car he crashed. There he looks back at Bill Elliott, who we talked about, going to be on Shop Talk next.
Earnhardt has moved around the Sterling Marlin car and has taken over second position.
First four are Chevys. Morgan Shepherd in fifth at a Ford.
And there's a sixth-place car and the seventh-place car. We're looking out of the back of the sixth-place car at the seventh-place car of Steve Grissom.
First three are Chevys, Bob. And Morgan Shepherd is fourth in a Ford, and then another Chevrolet of Steve Grissom. Marlin's car don't seem to be running quite as good as it did earlier because Earnhardt passed him and was driven away from him. Coming back up through there.
And as torn up as it is, Michael Walters is still running pretty well. He is on the lead lap in 15th, just lost 15th position to Bobby Labonte. And here is Morgan Shepherd now closing in on Sterling Marlin for third place.
Ned, you're right. The 4 car just doesn't have the speed it had a moment ago.
No, I don't know if he's picked up a push or something here, or if the car has got loose. It just seems the car is not handling quite as well as it did before. Now Morgan tries to go down on the inside of him, but he thinks better of it coming off the turn forward.
Kyle Petty closing in on Morgan rather quickly, and now Kyle shoots to the inside as they head for one, but will fall back in line.
Yeah, he said, I've been driving too smart. I better not do that today. That wouldn't be smart.
Ted Musgrave behind Kyle Petty. Family Channel car. 3-second lead that Gordon has over Kyle in fifth and just a little over a second advantage over Earnhardt.
You see Steve Hensler on the inside, the Quaker State car, slow on the inside, going to the back pits. Looks like this stage could be over. Yes, there's heavy smoke out of the Hensler car.
Jerry Punch has more on Sterling Marlin. Jerry?
Well, apparently a moment ago, Sterling radioed his crew chief, Tony Glover, and complained that the car has suddenly gotten very, very loose. And Tony said, we got to be patient, just back out, and we'll save the race car as he has lost the positions now. As Morgan Shepherd goes by Sterling Marlin, Marlin continues to drop off, but he can't do much in a very loose race car. Just the opposite situation has occurred with the Dale Earnhardt car. On their previous pit stop, they put 2 pounds of air in the right front, lowered the track bar. They had been loose, and now that car is wired to the racetrack, and Earnhardt is on a mission. Bob?
Yeah, he's gaining on Jeff Gordon right now. It's the first car we've seen today that's done any gaining on that 24 car, but Earnhardt is definitely gaining.
Morgan Shepherd's movement up to fourth position from the 16th place start. Pretty good run for Morgan. Top Ford at the moment.
This is turn 3. Now we're coming off turn 4. Did it at Darlington Raceway in front of the front grandstand.
Ken Schrader having a tough weekend after a third place start. Rick Mast and Derek Cope.
11, 12, and 13.
Speaking of rough weekends, Rick Mast has not had the best of his career. He took a provisional to get into the 39th position.
He spun out twice in practice, once both on Friday, I guess. No, once Saturday morning, once Friday, once Saturday morning. But it looks like the car's running pretty well. Here comes Cope on the inside, takes a spot away.
Cope moves up to 12th.
And Bobby Labonte on the inside trying to get alongside John Andretti. And does it.
And moves Labonte up to 14th.
Looks like Labonte's car was unaffected at all from his spin earlier.
Here is Bill Elliott.
There's a car spinning over in turn 2. It looks like Greg Sachs, who had wrecked earlier, is back out on the track. Caution is out.
Everybody misses him. It's just a one-car accident. Greg Sachs for the second time this afternoon, bringing out the caution.
He was one of several that well, he came back out pretty quick, I guess, after his original wreck. But Joe Nemechek has been back out, and also Robert Presley, who wrecked early.
Here's another look at it, Benny.
Yeah, Greg Sachs, he was by himself and just a slow spin around, and the roof flaps come up, holds the car down, and all the other cars, the spotters alerted them to what was going on. They all slowed and missed Greg Sachs. It was just simply a one-car accident.
It is our 8th caution of the day, however. It comes on lap 113, and it also sets up another series of pit stops. Here come the leaders. Here's John.
Third place car, Morgan Shepherd, pulls into the pit. The Wood Brothers will go to work. They will do 4 tires. As you take a look at Jeff Gordon, the leader, Dale Earnhardt second. Let's go down where to that end, the Jerry Punch.
And Gordon and Earnhardt pitting nose to tail on your screen. Gordon on top, Earnhardt in the middle, and 21 on the bottom, and they will all get right side and left side tires. Already to the left side on the Earnhardt machine. Shepherd is down 20.9 seconds for Morgan Shepherd, and Gordon is out 18.8 for Gordon. Earnhardt 19.1. A scamper off pit road it'll be. Gordon, Earnhardt, and looks to be Sterling Martin. Let's go to Bill.
Kyle Petty is in, was running 5th on the track. Just a 4-tire change in fuel. Kyle's best finish this year with a 10th at Rockingham. This team with a lightning fast pit stop, and they're back on the track, and the tire has come off Rick Mast's car here on the back pit. He's lost the left front tire. He's backing the Skoal Ford toward his pit. There are no other cars coming down pit road. Rick Mast without a left front tire, and his disappointing season continues. They're going to have trouble getting the jack underneath the car. And not much more you can say about that. They're going to put a new left front on it, and Rick Mast just sits there and waits for a tire change.
When it rains, it pours, Benny. We were just talking about how bad a weekend he's had.
I'm telling you, unbelievable.
Looks like they've got it on now, and Rick Mast will be rejoining the race. We'll take a break and be back in just a moment to the Transouth Financial 400. There you can see the pit summary. Almost everybody stayed the same except Kyle Petty, who's pitted on the backstretch. He went from 5th back to 13th as the green flag comes out, and we are back to racing at Darlington. Michael Waltrip, however, has moved up to 4th place.
And he changed 2 tires on that pit stop. He's pitted on the back straightaway, but he only changed 2 tires.
The 15 car, Dick Trickle, was 9th before the pit. Now he is 5th.
Michael's got someone on the inside. It's LaJoy.
Low side.
And the spotter told him low side. That was Morgan Shepherd coming up on the low side, and Dick Trickle now coming up there as well.
He's got more low side competition.
Stick the nose of his Ford in there, it does.
After the 16.
That means it'll be clear after the 16
They got a bad break with a slow car.
He's right. He's trying to pass Randy LaJoy going into turn 3 and got high in the turn and couldn't get back down.
And you can see just how much these drivers depend on a spotter all throughout the race, and just how intense, as Ned Jarrett talked about in our pre-show, just how intense the job is for the spotters. For every lap, they've got to sit there and tell that driver.
We copy you, Mike. Just hang in there. You're doing good.
And not only do they tell the driver what's going on, but they give him some encouragement once in a while.
Pump that boy up.
And he is doing good after all he's been through today.
Bobby Labonte is all the way back to 17th position.
He came in, Bob. He made a pit stop, made a good pit stop, and got back out. But then the next lap had to come back in. They made a chassis adjustment on the left rear of the car, and he pulled off with the wrench in it. Had to come back out to take the wrench out, so that gave him bad track position.
It's Davy Jones in the 77 car.
He's in 21st position, but only a lap down.
There are 19 cars still being shown on the lead lap. Amazing after all we've been through here today.
173 laps to go.
Roy Allen, the Hooters car, the number 27 car.
Roy took a provisional to get in. Started 42nd. Battling for position.
Davy Jones can go to Indianapolis 12 hours in the toughest racetrack I've ever been on in a couple of weeks.
We're going to show you Dick Trickle's total off-time track. His second pit stop, which came on lap number 75. The total time, 37.7, reflects the time he gets off the, what time he starts coming into the time that he gets back on the racetrack and up to speed.
Yes.
He should be stopping again, as you can see, on lap 131.
We're looking back at Dick Trickle from Morgan Shepherd's Citgo in car.
Now, I'll be surprised if Dick Trickle stops on lap 131 because it hasn't been that long since they were in the pits. We'll see. We'll see.
Musgrave trying his best to get by Bill Elliott. There we see Musgrave following Elliott down in turn 3. As Bill goes up, Musgrave will try to get under. No. Maybe he thinks that Elliott is running as fast as Musgrave needs to go.
Musgrave still looking to the inside of Bill.
Musgrave is a little quicker than Bill is right now.
I think so too.
Can't get by.
Being faster and getting around are two different things.
What they say, catching them and passing them is two different things.
That's right.
Especially with a guy like Bill Elliott, who has a lot of good experience here at Darlington.
He's won 5 times on this racetrack. Bill Elliott has. He's won this event twice and the Southern 500 3 times. His most recent win in this event was in 1992.
But he finally did get by Bill Elliott from McDonald's car.
So now Musgrave is 6th, Elliott is 7th.
Bill Elliott's not going to be a hamburger today. He's not going to steal anything. He'll get everything he earns. Right? He'll earn everything he gets, I should say.
That's right.
Body camera following the cars off the second corner.
Here's a battle between the 4th and 5th place cars, the 2 Fords of Morgan Shepherd and Dick Trickle. They're following Darrell Waltrip. Darrell is a number of laps down, 3 laps down as a matter of fact, being shown in 23rd position. He made an unscheduled pit stop, a green flag pit stop, I should say. Yeah, it was unscheduled early in the race. Went 2 laps down at that time. As you can see, Trickle pulls up right on the rear bumper of Morgan Shepherd.
I can't believe he's doing this.
We're listening to Morgan Shepherd's radio conversation.
Telling his crew and spotters, I can't believe that Darrell Waltrip isn't letting me by.
Son of a bitch is 3 laps down.
And they said he's 3 laps down. He shouldn't be able to move over and let him go by.
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
Couldn't hear that. Look at this, 3 abreast down the front stretch.
Somebody better back off.
Oh, and Kyle Petty went down to the apron. Good move, Kyle.
And Michael Waltrip was the guy that backed off. He still is driving the smart
Whose side?
He's driving a survival race, and it may be the best thinking.
Yeah, it's good. Very smart.
This is another spot to Derek Cope.
Cope has been running pretty doggone good today. And Bobby Labonte still continues to run so well. He's trying to get by Michael Waltrip. Can't make the pass. Alongside.
It's unbelievable that both Labonte and Wallace are both on the lead lap because they've been through a lot so far today.
Waltrip, not Wallace.
Yeah.
Waltrip. That's what you meant.
They're 12th and 13th. Thank you, Vinny. It's not what I say, it's what I mean. It's
exactly. And you folks, you knew what he meant.
Hang in there with us. Here's a Napa field summary. Todd Bodine now on the 30 car. $19 cars on the lead lap. John Andretti,
Brett Bodine,
15th and 16th.
Bobby Hamilton also on the lead lap.
He's 17th. Rick Mast is still on the lead lap. He's in 18th position. Might mention that Junior Johnson's fine has been upped another $5,000. He appealed and they lowered the fine, and then he appealed again. And on the second hearing, he was fined another $5,000.
Yeah, they lowered it $10,000 on the first appeal.
Yeah.
And he appealed it again, and then they raised the fine.
Right. There's the interval between first and second. Dale Earnhardt is your second place driver, as Jeff Gordon continues to lead, looking for his third victory of 1995. The Transouth Financial 400 is being led by Jeff Gordon, being dominated by Jeff Gordon, as a matter of fact. Although Dale Earnhardt is not too far behind in second position. The 31 car is back on pit road.
And we can see the 4 just behind Jeff Gordon. The 4 car catching Earnhardt quickly. There he went. And there's the 31 car, Ward Burton, coming back on the racetrack. There's Schrader, Grissom, and the 18 car. Great battle.
All of those cars on the same lap, battling for position, 9th, 10th, and 11th. Here's second, about to change as Marlin passes Earnhardt.
Now then, does that mean that Sterling Marlin is that fast all of a sudden, or does Earnhardt have a problem?
Well, Earnhardt has started losing ground to Jeff Gordon, the leader. He had been running about 10 or 12 car lengths behind him, and now he's more than a second behind him. So I think Earnhardt has slowed a little bit.
Ken Schrader running in 9th position. There's 10th, Steve Grissom.
Crash over turn 3 and 4. Darrell Waltrip is in the wall over there. We can see the damage to the rear of the Western Auto car.
Slides to a stop at the
we busted the right front tire.
Says he busted the right front tire.
How bad is it? I'll be there in just a second, and you might need to get a hammer or two. Info.
That has to maintain a little bit of a sense of humor there.
I'd say he needs a great big hammer. Maybe a torch and a welder. I mean, I'm not being funny. I mean, this is not funny. I'm sure it's not funny to Darrell Walter and his guys.
No, it isn't.
The right side, so we'll work on this left side.
It is amazing that a man like that can undergo that and still maintain a bit of humor. Anyway, we're under caution again for the 9th time today. Pit road at the moment is closed. The pace car has not yet picked up. Now it does pick up the field. We made a mistake a while ago.
The car Gary ought to take to the window.
We made a mistake when Dick
The
Trickle.
bungee cord's at, Tom. David.
Bungee cord is just a rubber cord, piece of rubber cord that goes over and holds the hood down, holds the fenders on, whatever, along with tape. Told you need a torch.
Yeah, they almost do. Anyway, we made a mistake and we showed you that Dick Trickle's next pit stop would come at about lap 31, 32 or whatever. But we're not too far off. It's 140, and here come the leaders of those on the lead lap. Jeff Gordon, Sterling Marlin, Dale Earnhardt, Morgan Shepherd, Trickle, Elliott, Schrader, Labonte, Cope, Andretti, and Brett Bodine.
Darrell Waltrip lost another lap.
Jerry Punch.
Triple split pit stop, somewhat of a break for Dale Earnhardt. He's on the bottom of your screen. His car had just gotten very, very loose again. He had lost second spot. Now he's on the bottom. He's making air pressure change as Shepherd is out. You see they're going to put a little wedge in the right rear of the 3 car. 4 car and 24 are both out. Left side tires down on Earnhardt. Here's the slowest pit stop, but they made a chassis adjustment. Let's go to John Curtis.
Jerry, what looked to be a routine 4-tire change for Morgan Shepherd resulted in that they left a ratchet. They were trying to raise the track bar, and Lynn Wood did not get the ratchet out in time. Morgan left. He's going to have to come back in, stop on pit road. So the 4th place car is going to lose a number of positions because they didn't get the ratchet out of the rear.
Yeah, actually, he had come out in 3rd place. That's too
Bobby, we
bad.
got to come back. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can see the ratchet sticking up there on the right side of the car.
And that adjustment is on the Panhard bar.
Go. Go ahead and quit making so many adjustments, eh?
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at this most recent incident from Darrell Waltrip's roof cam.
Oh, wow. Whoa, was that close?
Boy, now watch Ted Musgrave.
Did he hit him? Yeah.
Did he hit him?
Yeah, got a pretty good piece on him.
I hope to tell you he hit him. Man.
It has been an interesting afternoon at Darlington, and we still got quite a few laps to go. We'll be back with more in a moment. Welcome back to Darlington, South Carolina, the Transouth Financial 400, getting set to go back to Reen. A couple of cars have rejoined the race, Chuck Bound and Dale Jarrett.
All right, now you folks watched Earnhardt make that pit stop, and we said he made a chassis adjustment because his car had gotten loose. And you guys that are experts, you saw him turn that wrench down, and you say, no, they were loosening the car up. Remember at Atlanta when I did the track back on the Panhard bar with the adjustment they have now? What they were adjusting was the Panhard bar, the same thing as a 21 car. And when they tighten that bolt or drive the Panhard bar down, that in fact does tighten the car up.
Thank you. Jerry Punch has more.
And Benny, the reason they were lowering that Panhard bar or track bar in the rear of Earnhardt's car, as you might mention, his car had gotten loose. Now, earlier on a previous pit stop, they had actually raised the track bar a little bit. They put a little air in the right front tire, then came back and raised the track bar, but that let the car get loose in about 20 laps, so they went back to the original setting and lowered it back to where it was at the start of the race. Bob?
Okay, here we go again. Coming off of corner number 4, ready to take the green flag is Jeff Gordon at the front of the field. The restart comes on lap number 146. Sterling Marlin second, Dale Earnhardt third, and Dick Trickle now fourth.
And Derek Cope in fifth. Derek was running 12th before they ran the pit stops. He came out in fifth place.
Cope is just having a great year. He's ninth in the point standings. Has been up in the top 10 all afternoon. Here's the 22 car of LaJoy being passed once again. He was at the front of the field for the restart, trying to get the lap back, but could not.
John Curtis over there. The caution flag was a big break for Bill Elliott because he had a flat tire that was going down. He was able to stop and make the tire change on the caution flag.
Morgan Shepherd passing John Andretti.
He had to come back in, get that reach taken out, so he had to go way back to the back of the pack.
Ted Musgrave also going to the inside around John, and Jeff Burton makes it 3 wide down the front stretch.
Now Jeff Burton was involved in that incident over there with Jimmy Spencer and Dale Jarrett late speed, but he's still on the lead lap.
Marlin is within a car length and a half or so of the leader, Jeff Gordon.
Now they might be able to make a deal. He's close enough now to challenge, say, we need to lead a lap. But will be. What's he going to do? He's going to have to earn it.
Sterling Marlin, that's the 4 car. Kodak film. Here we go. Bobby Labonte going by Kyle Petty.
Boy, he just shot by him.
The green 18, interstate car, and the Coors Light car of Kyle Petty in 42.
He picks up 7th. There's Cope. And that's the separation between Derek and the leaders. John Kernan is with Darrell Waltrip.
Well, work continues in the garage area as Mark Martin tries to make his way out onto the track. We've got Darrell Waltrip out of the car, and Darrell, only way you can describe this is a rough race, a rough day for you.
I knew it was going to be this way. I didn't know we were going to have all this trouble. We self-inflicted some of it. We just didn't have the car right to start with. We had to work on it, got it good.
and then I run over something and cut that tire down and tore it all to pieces. Probably should have quit on the very get-go the way it was going, but my Western Auto boys are working hard, and we'll be back next week. We got Bristol coming up. Thank you, Lord, for not letting me get hurt. That was a pretty hard crash, but I feel okay. Hello, Mom, Dad, everybody.
Darrell Waltrip still able to maintain a sense of humor despite the rough day he's had.
5 wins here at Darlington, 4 in this race, 1 in the Southern 500.
Mark Martin's back out on the racetrack. He was being listed in 42nd position, 120-some laps down, because he went out early in the race in a crash here on the front straightaway, but he's back out there to try to make up a few positions.
He's missing a few parts there, Ned.
Yeah.
It's not very aerodynamic, is it? Look at this.
They just put a piece of sheet metal there and painted a 6 on it.
You remember the whole side of that car was torn away by Rusty Wallace when they collided on the front stretch.
Man, that is so funny.
It just goes to show you how important points are. Each position back from about 12th or something on back, or 3 points per position. And so any position they can pick up, that's an extra few points, and you never know at the end of the year how much that might mean. Could mean big dollars.
Yep.
There's been a lot of cars that have had trouble since Mark Martin had that problem. 41 cars out. He can overtake him, and several other cars have fallen out. Darrell Walker.
Yep. And Terry Labonte is still in the pits, in the garage here, still working on his car, but
I don't guess that Mark can catch it.
Push it pretty bad.
John Morgan Jefferson, his car was pushing pretty bad.
Bobby Labonte continues to pick him off. He's caught Steve Grissom and Derek Cope.
That's the 5th and 6th place cars. That's 5th, 6th, and 7th you're seeing there. Labonte is in 7th. Steve Grissom trying to look to the inside, but there's nothing there for him.
I'll try to drive on the inside. Grissom thought he was going to come as well. Both those cars powered by Hendrick engines. I was over there last week, Ned, with Randy Dorton and all the guys from Hendrick engines. Boy, they got a great operation over there.
They really do have.
Yeah. And it shows. A couple of guys dropping the tires down onto the apron, but surviving. Todd Bodine, Michael Waltrip, and Morgan Shepherd.
Ned and I talked about today. There we see Bobby Labonte goes by Grissom. Here comes Kyle Petty trying to take his spot away from Grissom as well. That'll put Cotton in 7th place. And he does it. Ned, you and I talked about at the top of the show how the speed has made the racetrack narrower, more narrow. And I think all these accidents really point that out, that the faster these cars going, just the more narrow the racetrack does become.
Yeah, they're getting so much better grip in the turns, which is, of course, picking the speed up. And they're running when they come out of each turn, whether it's coming out of 1 into 2 or 3 into 4, they're running a lot faster than they've been for the last several years. And something's got to happen when you get out there. It all comes up in a hurry.
We're watching from overhead in the Family Channel blimp as Bobby Labonte now comes up on Derek Cope for 5th place. Labonte is having his best run here at Darlington, at least in a 400-mile race. His best finish was 18th back in 1993. I should say the spring race.
And through the corners, Labonte just closes right in on the back bumper on Derek Cope.
Here is Todd Bodine passing the 1-car Rick Mast, and here comes Michael Waltrip right behind him.
Got Rick Mast off the gas just a little bit coming off the 2nd corner. He lost that head of steam.
11th, 12th, and 13th there. Back up front, it is still Sterling Marlin trailing Jeff Gordon by just a few inches now as Sterling closes up.
He ain't trailing it 1 inch.
Nope. Watch that. Leads. Going to.
It's the first time today.
Yeah.
That might be the first time this year Jeff Gordon's been passed.
It is the 2nd time this year that Sterling Marlin has led. Not since Daytona has he been up front, but he is now. Let's see if Jeff can get him back. Nope. Bobby Labonte continues to put the pressure. Ooh, we got a good 4-car battle here, don't we?
Kyle Petty. Gets up there and passes Labate.
And we got side-by-side battles everywhere. Here's Musgrave, Mast, and Andretti. John Andretti trying to move up to 15th. Now we'll see if Kyle Petty can shoot around Derry Cope here at the end of the straightaway. Nope, and look at this. Jeff Gordon goes back around Sterling Marlin, and it could have been a situation that we had a report on earlier. Jerry?
Bob, that's exactly what it was. Jeff Gordon was allowing Sterling Marlin to go by him and lead one lap, one definite lap. Okay, you've led a lap. He said, I'm going to go back by. So that's exactly what they did. Now they're back where they were with Gordon leading and Marlin in second.
So Sterling has picked up the 5 bonus points, but Jeff says that's enough, and he goes back to the front of this race.
But Speed just went back out of the garage area, out of the track, and the span forward. He's 74 laps down.
Yep. And Bobby Labonte passes the 42 car of Kyle Petty and moves up to 5th position. So we've got a lot of passing going on here. It's been an exciting race to this point, but Jeff Gordon has been the man for the most part that has run up front, as he does right now. We'll resume our live coverage in just a moment. Bob Jenkins, Ned Jarrett, Benny Parsons, John Kernan, Bill Weber, and Dr. Jerry Punch back at the Transouth Financial 400, and the Family Channel Blip Tour 95 is helping to spread the word about the Family Channel's quality, value-based programming and original movies. Network is the nation's viewing choice in family entertainment with 60 million subscribers, and they're providing some great overhead shots of our race today also. And now we focus down on the racetrack as the 15 car of Dick Trickle has taken 3rd from Dale Earnhardt, and here is how it happened.
Going to turn 1, Trickle gets on the inside, gets position, and Trickle goes down to the apron literally to get by Earnhardt.
He had almost all 4 tires down on the apron. Now an on-track interval showing you the difference between 1st and 4th, the lap times for those. It was 4.2 second interval between 1st and 4th on lap 163, and on 162nd that had...
It's unbelievable, Ned. He's running 29.90, under 30 seconds every lap. Yep. Jeff Gordon is. Man. This racetrack is fast now. Jeff Gordon, DuPont Automotive finishes Chevrolet.
It's hard to believe he can still maintain that kind of speed this late in the race. Of course, that's a tribute to the tires and also to that race car, the same race car that he won with at Rockingham and Atlanta.
You know, just a little bit ago, the NASCAR officials going forward to flagman. Black flag, I think the 28 car as he come down the front straightaway. And the 32 car, Chuck Bound, was also crashed earlier today. He was alongside Dale Jarrett. So when Doyle Ford waved the black flag, both of them went to the pit. They got pushed the price of one.
By the way, happy birthday to Doyle Ford, who celebrated his 62nd birthday yesterday. Looking for the 21 car of Morgan Shepherd. Here he comes off the corner, just ahead of Michael Waltrip.
They were running in 11th and 12th position. Now we saw those speeds on Jeff Gordon there a moment ago. I just had a clock watch on Bobby Labonte. He's running about 29.92. We see him come up to this pack. He's in good place right now.
Derry Cope has lost some positions recently.
He has lost some positions. Not only evidently the car's getting loose, pushing something, because he's lost 3 or 4 spots and is drifting back towards Kenny Schrader.
Yeah, he's in 12th and Schrader's in 13th at the moment. And there's a 14th place car of Ted Musgrave also.
Musgrave trying to catch up with both Schrader and Derry Cope.
A little bit of glare there going in the corner, huh?
Just going down turn 1, driving into the setting sun. And as the day goes on, it becomes worse.
Now Kenny shoots to the inside of Derek. He's past him, or tried to, going into 3, forces Cope high. but takes the spot. And here comes Musgrave, and John Andretti will be looking for the opportunity to do the same. Yes.
And here comes Rick Mast gone by as well, and Jeff Burton. All these cars passing Cope for position. And Cope has radioed the crew and said the car has gotten extremely loose as Musgrave tries to get by Schrader.
Looks like he's going to be able to do it. John Andretti's going to try to come through also.
So now Ken Schrader loses positions as he's up high. That was an interesting interview you did with him, Benny, on Speed Week that ran Friday night, especially his final comment. And he says, if we don't start doing things, we're going to have to make some changes, and I hope it doesn't mean
Well, he's feeling the pressure because the other Hendrick cars, Jeff Gordon and Terry Labonte, both are won. And he hasn't won this year, so he's getting to feel the pressure, and I don't blame him. I think anybody in his shoes would.
Here, Bobby Labonte has caught Dale Earnhardt. Earnhardt has dropped the fourth when Dick Trickle got around him as they go around Loyola. Trickle is pulled away from Earnhardt. Now Bobby Labonte wants to take over the fourth position.
Bobby Labonte, I went by the Joe Gibbs shop last week, Ned, and he has a fabulous shop over in Charlotte.
Yeah, I was in there a few weeks ago, and it really does. Brand new shop they moved into last winter.
John Curtin has more on Bobby Labonte's excellent run here today.
You have to give a lot of credit to the determination and the guts of Bobby Labonte. This morning, saw him. He'd been suffering from the flu all weekend. In fact, I think Dr. Jerry Punch even treated him over the weekend. Bobby told me this morning he was still feeling pretty terrible. In fact, guys, this morning he looked as white as a sheet. But he is doing an excellent job hanging in out there.
I bet he doesn't have a pain in the world right now. He moves up to fourth, and he's thinking, hey, if I hang this thing together right, I can win this race.
That's like the sheet we'll see right now, the one that Doyle Ford waves at the end, that black and white one.
Billy Standridge, Kyle Petty, and Todd Bodine are in view now. Standridge is not on the lead lap.
But he's hanging in there. He's having a good run today. He's in 23rd position.
And Todd gets by Kyle. Kyle ran in behind the 47 car, got Kyle boxed in there and took over the 6th spot from Kyle Petty. And Kyle, don't look behind you too far because there's Grissom. That's a great race. And folks, if you want to see the Southern 500, the Mountain Dew Southern 500 Labor Day, I would suggest you order tickets early because they're going fast, I guarantee you.
Yeah, after what we've seen here today, I would think that there'd be a lot of interest in it.
And besides, by that time, we could have somebody going for the Winston Million, too. Yes. So it's still Jeff Gordon that is leading this race, as Dale Earnhardt reports that his car is loose. That's why he's fallen back to 5th spot. Gordon leads over Sterling Marlin, Trickle, Labonte, and Earnhardt. Back in a moment.
Back at Darlington, pit stops the order today. Under caution, 24, 4, and 15. If you're watching all 3 cars, and they're all down and out almost the same time. A second differential for Jeff Gordon, 18.7, whereas an identical 19.7 time for Marlin and Trickle here pitting under caution for 4 tires. And Bobby Labonte, what a pit stop Jimmy Maycar and company had for that car right there, the Interstate Batteries Chevrolet. Bob?
We are under caution because of an incident involving Loy Allen. Let's go to Bill Weber.
Kyle Petty on and off of pit road. A 4-tire change. Rick Mast is also here. He's on his way out. Steve Grissom beat them in. They're all racing for position off the back pits.
Here comes Michael Waltrip.
A lot of cars that are pitting on the backstretch are still on the lead lap.
Somebody keep an eye out for that water bottle that comes out there. He stepped right on it and slipped.
There is Loy Allen's car. Slid off of corner number 4, made contact with the inside wall. Loy is okay, but it does bring out another caution, and that's the 10th one of the day. We are 1 short of the Transouth 500 record, not 400. Here's how it started from our speed shot.
Whoa. He was already backwards when he came down through there. slid down to the inside wall, and now they take the Hooters forward into the garage.
All right, so we get lined up now, but first, new gadgets, new machines, they show up all the time here in Winston Cup Racing. Benny has found one that involves tires. Track Facts are brought to you by Quaker State, the intelligent oil for longer engine life. Here is Jerry Punch.
During the era of the bias ply tire, the critical measurement was tire circumference. When fully inflated, tires could vary up to an inch. That variation came to be known as stagger. Now with the radial tire, the construction provides for a constant or preset circumference. The critical measurement now is tire pressure. Teams realize that fluctuations as slight as 1 pound can drastically alter the handling characteristics of the tire and the car. So accurate air gauges are critical. No longer can you rely on the garden variety truck stop pencil gauge. Now they use sophisticated oil-filled units that are calibrated almost daily. The air pressure adjustments are really changing the flexibility of the sidewall, but until now there was no way to measure sidewall rigidity. Bill Elliott team manager Gene Roberts designed this machine to do just that. A tire is bolted on and inflated to recommended pressure. The pressure gauge is zeroed to baseline. Then the tire is depressed exactly 1/2 inch hydraulically against a steel platform. Then tire specialist Mike Thomas will make sure that the tire is inflated to the proper pressure. Take a look here. The pressure should be about 48 pounds. Exactly 48. Now he will look at the gauge and determine the arbitrary reading of sidewall flexibility or rigidity. And once the gauge stops fluctuating, it's 23.76. Now Thomas will go back and add 2 pounds of air pressure. A slight adjustment, but take a look at what this does to sidewall rigidity. It certainly increases it considerably. And therefore we have a machine finally to determine the flexibility of a radial tire sidewall. But before you race fans dash out to your nearest tire store to see one of these, be aware. This is a one-of-a-kind machine, totally designed, constructed, and owned by the Elliots in Dawsonville, Georgia.
And we'll have more on this and the green flag for the resumption of the race when we come back. We have been racing for a lap and a half. Jeff Gordon is still up front. Randy LaJoy, who has tried on numerous times to get a lap back, at the moment is at the tail end of the lead lap, but Jeff is breathing down his neck, as are Sterling Marlin and Bobby Labonte. We'll watch this as Benny tells us more about that machine that Jerry told us.
Well, I don't know that I want to say any more about the machine. Here we go on the outside, and here comes the scorecard on the inside. But I was talking to some of the mechanics there, and we showed just how much difference it made by putting 2 pounds of air pressure in the tire, how much stronger it made the tire. When these tires get hot, after 4 or 5 laps, they build up to 16 pounds of air pressure above what they start at cold. Wow. So you can see how much different that the tires get, and that's why the teams are trying to run the tires a little lower on air pressure to take care of the buildup.
Yep. That's amazing.
He's trying to get him. And here comes the race for the lead, and it's the 4 car. And he and Gordon make contact.
And look at Labonte! Oh my gosh, he came flying up on Gordon and got to the inside and took second. Man.
I believe that Jeff Gordon, his spotter, must have told him, said, hey, that 18 car's coming in a hurry, because he was coming almost too fast to stop if Gordon had cut down a little bit there. And so good defensive drive.
And this is the first time in the race that Jeff has not run either first or second. He's back to third.
All the way back to third.
Yeah.
What will he do?
John Kernan has more on Bobby Labonte.
Yeah, Bobby had complained that the car was, we've got to spin the 42 car. Kyle Petty sitting out there.
Bill Elliott hit him. Yep, Bill Elliott hit him. And Kyle is badly damaged in turn 3. That's too bad. They had a good run going. He was in 8th position.
And we see all the damage to the rear of the car. And Elliott's car was heavy damage to the right front.
And a fire, yeah.
Fires
on the right side.
I guess he's just trying to start the car, I guess, and the exhaust pipe, the flame is coming out the exhaust pipe. We see the...
Kyle says he got into oil in turn 3 is the reason the car went around on him.
There we see Kyle jumping out. He's trying to undo his radio that he forgot to unhook. Now he's back in unhooking all that.
All right, let's take a look on replay. He's already sideways.
And right in the middle of a pack. Those first ones got through, but here comes Elliott. He hits his right front, hits Kyle's front.
And I believe that's the only two cars that made contact in the spin. Here's Bill. He tries to get under him. Can't quite make it.
Davy
6
Jones.
inches a foot,
Yep.
maybe?
Davy Jones just missed. All right, we have tied the record for number of cautions in a spring race here at Darlington. There's Kyle Petty. He's okay. Back in a moment. Kyle Petty continues to run back to his pit area. He's been running since he left the car in turn 3. Must be in pretty good shape.
Must be in pretty good shape.
I'd be huffing by now, wouldn't you?
He's waving to us as he goes by. Hi, Kyle.
The car is a mess.
Yeah, it is.
Once again, we'll show you what happened. A lot of drivers had reported there was oil on the racetrack, and Kyle found it.
He found it, and around he went. There he is, just losing control. The back end goes around. He comes down, and when he goes up, he's going to do some damage to the rear of the car. Now we're going to get the front. There it is, Bill Elliott.
From Michael Waltrip's in-car camera, he was right behind it.
You know, I think fortunately for Michael, there were a couple of cars running side by side in front of him, and he had backed off to keep from running over them, and might have let him have better control. Let's go to the pits and John Kernan.
Well, Bill Elliott's getting ready to go to work. Bill has pulled it behind the wall. He has no brakes. Bill, a tough day for you out there. What happened?
Well, it looks like somebody dropped oil on the racetrack, and Cal run down in the corner and spun out. You know, it's just a situation that there's so much happening today that, you know, you don't know if it's anybody's fault or not, but it's just a tough situation. The racetrack's too fast to race on. And if you have a problem, you're in the middle of a wreck before you know it.
We've seen a lot of people back here as they take Kyle Petty's car back to the back pits. A lot of people down here in the garage area echo those same types of sentiments from Bill Elliott.
So the new pavement has done a world of good in many ways, but it's made the racetrack a lot faster, and we have seen a lot of cars crash here today because of it. They'll have to learn how to drive this track all over again. We'll be right back. ESPN Speed World is live today at the Transouth Financial 400 in Darlington, South Carolina. Was there oil on the racetrack that resulted in the incident as we look at the Family Channel blimp that's hovering overhead of this racetrack? Well, here is Darrell Waltrip's roof cam. He would say, yeah, there is.
That's Chuck Bowen, I think, that went by him in the 32 car. And look at the oil at that.
Yeah, a lot of oil coming on there. So let's go to the back stretch. Bill Weber is standing by with Kyle Petty.
Kyle, oil on the racetrack.
Yeah, I saw a stream of it like the lap before, just a little bit. There was just a little bit going in one. I went high, and I kind of got away from it. And the next lap, you know, you're catching, you're racing, you're trying to do all you can. And I got in it going in 3 down there, and it just turned around real quick. I thought I had it. After it run through it, it got sideways, and it got out. And I thought I had it, but by then I was so high on the racetrack, I was up in the loose stuff and packed her in the wall one of them days.
You had good lap times. You were having a good run. Took you about 15, 20 laps to get your tires in it.
Yeah, I'm a junk qualifier. And I hate this place, and I'll go on record as saying I went it during the Busch race yesterday. I said I hate Darlington, hate Bristol too. That's coming up next week. But, you know, we didn't qualify that good, but we knew once we got in a race we'd be all right. And, you know, we just pick them off one at a time. And there were some good guys. I tell you, Bobby Labonte is stout right now. I look for him to give him a run up later on in the race.
Even with her new coat, you don't like the lady in black?
I've said it before. I think they ought to fill this place up with water to the outside retaining wall, dump bass in it, and have pro bass tournaments in here and sell seats in them grandstands right there and let people just watch them fish all day long. Be fine with me. But I'll tell you this, as bad as this place is, you could stock this thing with 1 million fish when nobody catch one.
All right, let's take a look at our Budweiser race recap. currently Sterling Marlin has led 9 of the first 196 laps. 11 changes for the lead, 11 caution flags for 55 laps, and we're averaging only 117 miles an hour. Those that have picked up the 5 bonus points for leading include Gordon, Mayfield, Marlin, Jeff Bodine, and Jeff Burton. Also, Jimmy Spencer and Michael Waltrip have led at least 1 lap. And now take a look at the lengthy cars out of the race. Actually, there aren't that many cars officially out of the race, but on the track we have at least 10 cars that are 50 or more laps down to the leader. So it has been a tough day, and I think if I didn't have a sheet metal shop, Benny, I'd want to own a paint store because they're going to have to repaint the whole here.
You know, Rusty Wallace was involved in the accident with Mark Martin, and right now Rusty Wallace is running 28. He's 57 laps down, but he is running 28. He has picked up 13, 14 spots since he had the accident.
That's about 40 points.
Yep.
Right, 40 points.
All right, let's go back to green, shall we? Sterling Marlin up front with Bobby Labonte second, and Jeff Gordon is third. The crowd that gathered here early today is still here. Nobody has left. We've got a lot of laps to run. We are back to green.
And none of the leaders made a pit stop. Whoa! And Bobby Labonte gets in the 22 car, and Jeff Gordon right in front of Jeff Gordon.
Gordon gets the worst of it, I believe. Randy LaJoy, who has been up front on a restart for the last 3 or 4 times, spins right in front of Jeff.
A lot of damage on the DuPont Chevrolet. He won't win this race today.
No, the win streak will not go to 3, or the number of wins will not be going to 3. There is oil on the racetrack again. We are under caution.
It's oil or water from Jeff Gordon's car, and there's all the way around the racetrack.
So he could have broken an oil cooler line or
oil cooler, anything. Yeah. There we see the oil. See it on the bottom of the racetrack?
Yeah.
The cars are going through it now. But fortunately, they're going at a reduced rate of speed.
Here it is again.
There we see LaJoy. Sterling Marlin gets by him. And just a little touch from Bobby Labonte sends LaJoy around.
And Bobby Labonte might have touched him down just a little bit with the left side of his race car, but
he certainly didn't have the damage that Jeff Gordon had. Here it is from the blimp. Definite contact between LaJoy and Bobby Labonte, and Labonte did take a hit in the left quarter panel.
He's coming into the pits right now, and of course Jeff Gordon is the one that really took the hit because it spun the 22 right up into him.
Here's John Kernan in Labonte's pit.
At first, Bobby said he thought he only had cosmetic damage, and you can see as they changed the 4 tires on the car, there's a little bit of this grill screen is out. Bobby also, just before coming on pit road, said that the steering was off about half of the turn. Now you see the crew going to work as they try to bang out that left front fender. Mr. Labonte showing some of the effects there. Let's go down to Dale Earnhardt's pit where Jerry Punch is standing by.
Well, Earnhardt did get some cosmetic damage in the left front of his Chevrolet Monte Carlo. Crew's now working. They have not changed tires. They have got some bungee cords there and trying to pull some of the sheet metal there. Just behind Earnhardt is what's left of the front end of the DuPont Chevrolet. Jeff Gordon pulled the car in. Ray Evernham and company have gone over and raised the hood. There's oil all over the inside of the engine compartment. Apparently they've either ruptured an oil line or possibly one of the areas back into the oil tank as they are now looking with the car is not running. It is sitting on pit road, and Gordon sits very dejectedly inside the car with the window net still up. Still working on Earnhardt's car in front of him. He has not lost a lap in the pits. They're trying to get that sheet metal repaired. And Gordon, who was the dominant car here throughout most of the afternoon, is in the pits, a victim of an unfortunate accident in turn 1. We are under caution once again at Darlington, South Carolina. Back with more after this.
Jeff Gordon's car is being pushed behind the wall with extensive damage. Bobby Labonte was also hurt in that crash as far as body damage is concerned. Dale Earnhardt goes back out. Also, Dick Trickle and Morgan Shepherd received some damage to their cars in this accident up in turn number 1. Replays. First of all, from the blimp.
Okay, we see Bobby Labonte in the green car come up and just tap the 22 car, the black car of Gordon, LaJoy and Gordon. He spins right up into him, and then here's Dick Trickle back there and Morgan Shepherd. They jam up. See, Trickle gets knocked into the wall. Shepherd gets some damage on the sit-go forward.
And from another angle, this is from our robotic camera in turn number 2, Benny.
Once again, just watch the cars, and the racetrack gets blocked. And I had not noticed the damage that Dick Trickle and Morgan Shepherd had sustained until Ned pointed out just then.
And now Morgan Shepherd's in car.
Okay, just riding along, and all of a sudden things are going to happen in front of him. We'll just listen.
And that's Jeff Gordon's oil. That's the oil from Jeff Gordon's car that's getting on the windshield. Because I think he broke the oil cooler.
There, the 22 car spins right in front of Jeff Gordon. And Morgan Shepherd was actually pushing Dick Trickle up there. Trickle couldn't turn because he was being pushed by Morgan Shepherd.
And you see the oil following Jeff Gordon's car. I think he's knocked the oil cooler off the car.
And Ted Musgrave's roof cam.
Inside the racetrack.
That's the spotter, Ned. Yep. We talked about him. That's the spotter saying go low, and he turned that baby left.
Now here is the lineup as we're almost ready to go back to green, although we will not this time around. Sterling Marlin is the leader of the race, and John Kernan is with Jeff Gordon.
Jeff, we had mentioned earlier today how Darlington never is very kind to you, and just when it looked like you were going to finally tame it, you were in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, we lost the lead there to Sterling and Bobby. Somebody was leaking a bunch of oil, so I got backed out of it. And those guys drove by me. I didn't think anything of it. And, we went back under green there, and I don't know what happened. I just saw LaJoy spin in front of me, and, man, I was like, where am I going to go? And I tried to go high and follow Bobby, and there wasn't a place to go. And if I would have gone low, I might have spun the car. Who knows? We're out of it now. It doesn't really matter.
Well, Jeff Gordon very disappointed. Benny, to answer your question, yeah, they did knock the oil cooler off of it. Now let's go back out to pit road where Jerry Punch has caught up with Richard Childress.
And Richard, you may have dodged the bullet up there. Looks like the car isn't hurt that bad.
Now it knocked the front end off a little bit there, but I think we're okay now. Feel like we got it fixed back pretty good.
The car's been getting looser and looser. Any idea if you've got the problem solved?
Well, we've keep making adjustments. I think we didn't allow enough for the sun. The sun came out and got it pretty hot, and we just a little bit too loose.
Down here in the pits, guys, a couple of lucky teams, and some of the teams are saying, hey, there may not be anything left to carry to that wind tunnel next week for the test of the aerodynamics on these race cars. Bob?
Well, that's a point to make. At least there is hardly a car, if there is one at all, that doesn't have some kind of body damage as a result of all the crashes we've seen here today. To go green as Sterling Marlin is ahead of Steve Grissom, Michael Waltrip, Derek Cope, and Todd Bodine. Your first 5. 6th place is Ted Musgrave. Then Ken Schrader is running in 7th. And the restart comes on lap 209.
And Dick Trickle did not get off the very good start. I don't know exactly what his problem was. Meanwhile, we see Sterling Marlin out in front. They're going through an oil drive, and Michael Waltrip almost lost it coming off the corner.
Amazingly, there are still 16 cars in the lead lap after all these cars.
And only 2 in the top 6 that have ever won a NASCAR Winston Cup race. Let's take a look at the start again.
They put down oil drive because of all the oil that Jeff Gordon lost, and Michael Waltrip was forced up into it, and he gets the car out of shape. Then see the oil drop coming up behind the cars. He gets the car out of shape. And there goes Todd Bodine and Derek Cobine.
And Dale Earnhardt is moving up quickly. From 12th place on the restart, he's picked off a couple already.
And here he goes by a couple more. Oh, and Jimmy Spencer's wrecked. That's up in, where is it? The backstretch.
Yep.
And still no caution flag as the car sits there.
Well, he's got it rolling again, so
now
it does. Caution comes out. That's 13 cautions today. And you're right, Benny. Something you said during the break. If this was a 500-mile race, we'd have to call it because of darkness.
That's right.
Here we go. The race to the line is on.
Trying to pick up all the spots he possibly can, and he's all the way up to about 6th or 7th.
All right, let's take a look at the crash on the backstretch. Jimmy Spencer this time.
Looks like he was trying to get underneath. Was that the 22 car of LaJoy? Yes, it was. He was trying to get alongside and just lost it coming off the second corner.
That was also just a one-car accident, although there were a couple of others that came very close. Now watch this race to the line, or to the restart. That little bump there from Kenny Schrader.
He didn't like whatever Earnhardt did.
Yeah, that was the race to the line.
Yeah, normally.
The average speed of this race is only 111 miles an hour, if you can believe that, after a top qualifying speed of 170. Back in a minute. Just as you rejoin us, the green flag comes out, and we are racing again. We're on lap 214 of 293. So we're going to run a little over our scheduled off time at 4 o'clock Eastern time. In fact, we may run well over that now.
The way this thing's going, we don't even have to play right now. So Sterling Marlin is still the leader. And Steve Grissom in second place. Todd Bodine is third. Derek Cope is fourth, and Michael Waltrip fifth.
There is a car between Marlin and Grissom. That is Jeff Bodine, who is 5 laps down in 20th position. And now he goes up to the track and allows the faster cars to pass by. Here comes Todd Bodine, who is in 3rd position.
None of these cars that are in the top 5, in fact, all of them, excepting Sterling Marlin, are pitting on the backstretch. So that hasn't been a big disadvantage today.
The only disadvantage has been running into the wall here today. I mean, if you can survive this one, you're going to run up front.
Yep, dodging the wrecks has been the key to survival.
The Autolite field summary showing you where everybody is running at the moment, and it will show you that indeed there are 16 cars on the lead lap with Morgan Shepherd, the last car on the lead lap. A lot of cars have been wrecked. Only a few officially out of the race. But a lot of cars are either still behind the wall or out there running with a lot of body damage. And we got another car into the wall. A big one over it too.
And this could be a big one.
This
Look,
is a
still
big
coming
one.
in there.
Bobby Labonte is in it. Jeff Burton is, and somebody hit the wall really hard on the inside that I did not see.
Dick Trickle is involved in it. There's his Ford. That might have been the one you didn't see, Bob, because there's a lot of damage to it.
I think there's somebody down there on the far right of the screen. Maybe not.
But there is. There's another car in the smoke.
Yeah. Wow.
There's the car. 2 cars.
Okay, it's Rick Mast.
And Bobby Labonte is not feeling too good.
No, he isn't. He's gotten out of the car, but he is hurting.
Oh, what a tough break for all of these guys, really. They've just...
And the emergency crew is at the side of the Rick Mast car. He had not lowered the net, so he is also indicating that he is not feeling well also.
There's his pit crew running over just to make sure that he's okay.
Those on the lead lap are coming into the pits. The 29 car of Steve Grissom did not pit here on the front stretch. He's over on the back stretch. There you see Earnhardt and Schrader, and Cope is also in, John.
4-tire change underway for Derek Cope. They'll put the left side tires on. This car has had problems with getting loose on long runs. They've been making adjustments with air pressure and also with their weight jack. Now let's go down. The 4 car, I guess, is left in, and Landon Earnhardt is also leaving pit road. Schrader, along with John Andretti and Brett Bodine, heads down pit road.
And they are calling for an ambulance from here on the front stretch to go over to Rick Mast and Bobby Labonte. You see 2 ambulances there right now, and they've called for another one to leave the area here on the front stretch. Here is the replay.
Is that the 47 car?
Yeah, I believe it is. Billy Standridge.
Billy Standridge.
He's going to touch Rick Mast.
Touched him just a little bit, sent him around right in front of Bobby Labonte. Bobby tried to get slowed down, tried to spin sideways into him, and you watch those cars go down across the track. Labonte gets hit hard by, was that Jeff Bodine?
That was Dick Trickle that hit Labonte really hard. And Rick Mast went down and caught the inside wall hard.
Yeah, almost head on, and then the car spun around and hit on the side. So Mast took a really hard shot, as did Bobby Labonte.
We'll try once more to look this way. There we see Mast going around up into the inside wall. And there comes Trickle. Boom, right in the side of Labonte's car. Jeff Burton also spins, but I don't think he ran into anyone. The Rebesta's car, I don't believe hit anything.
Now from Morgan Shepherd's roof cam.
Boy, he saw that opening and he gunned that thing in a hurry, didn't he?
Yeah.
And Dick Trickle is stopped down in 3 and 4. And we see the window net is down and
he's still sitting in there, but I think he's okay. Are there going to be any cars left? Here's Bill Weber.
Okay, Bob, here on the backstretch, Steve Grissom could not pit because the back pits were closed. Right now, Buddy Parrott is lobbying NASCAR for track position when he finally does pit. But Steve Grissom could not pit because the back pits were closed. They wanted to come in and make a 4-tire stop. Right now, Steve Grissom remains on the track, and the discussion continues.
We see Bobby Labonte sitting there, and the guys are waving to the ambulance, to the rescue people, come over, because Rick Mast walked away. We see Bobby Labonte around the left of your screen is Labonte sitting there talking to a couple of people.
I imagine he said, no, I don't want any medical attention. I'm okay, but just let me sit here for a while. Now he, too, is beginning to walk to the ambulance. It's a rather warm day here today, so I don't know. It's obvious, though, that neither driver is seriously injured. Both have been able to walk to the ambulance. We will be back with more from Darlington after these messages. The cleanup continues on the backstretch, taking the car of Rick Mast off. Bobby Labonte's car also involved. Dick Trickle. There is Dick Trickle. His car is down between turns 3 and 4.
That's not Dick Trickle. Dick Trickle's still sitting in the car. That's a fireman standing by his car.
The back pits are still closed, so Steve Grissom, who is at the front of the field right now, along with some others, have not been able to pit.
Yeah, including Todd Bodine and Michael Walter. We'll look again here.
There again, the 47 car on the inside of Rick Mast. As they come off the corner, they make slight contact. Just enough to send the 1 car into a spin. Bobby Labonte, the green and black car, the interstate battery car, goes in. He spins trying to dodge Mast. As they're spinning down the racetrack, here comes Trickle, and boom, right in the side of the 18 car. There we see Jeff Burton spinning, and he does not hit anything. No.
Yeah, came close to hitting Bobby, but didn't.
But did not hit him. So Dick Trickle still sitting there. Now the wrecker has pulled up to his car and starting to hook it up. And once again, safety workers talking to Dick Trickle. I think they're trying to tell him to get out and go to the hospital. And he says, I'd rather sit in here. It's a lot more comfortable in here, probably.
Ambulance is arriving at the infield care center here to check the drivers over. And if necessary, they will be transported elsewhere. Bill Weber, the back pits, I guess, are now open.
Well, they're waiting for Steve Grissom to come down pit road 55 miles an hour. This team wanted to wait till lap 228. under green conditions, but now they're pitting. They were originally shut out because the back pits were closed when the other leaders pitted on the front stretch. Now the Monte Carlo is here. The Buddy Parrott-led crew will make a 4-tire stop and add fuel. They wanted again to wait 6 more laps, and they felt they could go the distance. Now, Buddy has lobbied NASCAR for track position. When I asked him a lap ago if he had any success in that, he just shook his head. He did not answer. So we'll see if we can't get a word with him after this pit stop. Steve Grissom is back on his way out of the pits. He beats Michael Waltrip just over 19 seconds for the Monte Carlo.
Well, I tell you, that's a very good point. Because they could not come into the pits, and who knows how they would have come out. All day long, we've seen cars pit on the back stretch and have gained positions on some of those that are pitting on the front stretch. And right now, you know, if he comes out, he's going to be behind all of the cars that are pitting on the front stretch.
He went in when the caution came out, Steve Grissom was running second. He's now running 12th, or I guess about 10th or 11th.
It'll be interesting to see what ruling is made on that.
Well, we'll take another break here while the cleanup continues all around the racetrack. We're at Darlington, South Carolina, the Transouth Financial 400. It's just about 4 o'clock Eastern Time. We welcome you back to Darlington, South Carolina, the Transouth Financial 400. We have a lot of laps to go, so obviously we're going to go well over our 4 o'clock scheduled off time. Let's do some recapping of some of the incidents that we have had, not all of them. This was how Mark Martin's race ended. Rusty Wallace was also involved in that. Rusty is still out there.
And we see that Mark Martin also out there. Here's how the wreck happened on a restart. Mark Martin gets in the back of the 30 car, and Rusty Wallace comes in, and boom, Mark's car in the inside wall. Once again, Steve Kinzer and Ward Burton get together, which eliminates Ricky Rudd. The 18 car spun. He was able to continue without too much damage. But the 31 and 10 were eliminated for the day.
Matter of fact, the 18 car continued to run very well and was up in the top.
He was second.
He was second, yeah, when he was taken out in the most recent incident. Here's Ricky Rudd's in-car shot.
Well, I'll give you whiplash.
Man, I'm telling you.
All right, here going down in turn 1. The 87 car, Nemechek, this was early on in the race. This was the first caution flag, as a matter of fact.
And we knew from that point on we were in for a long afternoon, although Joe has been able also to make repairs and get back out there. Here is Greg Sachs hitting the wall. This is one of a couple of incidents that he's been involved in.
And that was a one-car accident. And now watch Terry Labonte pass Jeff Bodine and then get the car loose. And Bodine goes up, and watch Terry Labonte. He saved it, folks. Unbelievable.
Totally sideways and saved it.
But then the next lap, something did break on Labonte's car, and he crashed in almost the same spot coming off turn 4.
Darrell Waltrip was involved in an incident. Some of the accidents today at Darlington. The green flag is out once again. Back to racing, and Ted Musgrave is the leader of the race for the first time in 1995. Ted is at the front. Derek Cope is second. There are 3 Fords up front.
Morgan Shepherd is a third-place car as he tries to go by Jeff Bodine. Is now doing it on the outside.
Well, guys, there were some concessions made on those pitting on the backstretch. Because Ted or Steve Grissom is up there in 4th position. Sure is. I don't know how the calculations were made, but they did have some adjustments, which I think they should have.
Grissom 4th, Michael Waltrip 5th, and Todd Bodine is in 6th. Here is Jerry Punch.
Well, just a moment ago before the green came back out, we had about half a dozen cars come back in on lap 225 and top off the tank. Sterling Marlin, Dale Earnhardt, Kenny Schrader, and Brett Bodine. Those cars are all in the lead lap, and they all 4 felt if they topped it off, they could go the distance without another pit stop here if we didn't get another caution, that is. Another pit stop for fuel. They can go all the way. Bob?
Okay, that explains then some of how they were relined up then while we were watching all of those replays when they came down and made those pit stops. And thanks, Jared, for bringing us up to date on that.
That's great. Lincoln's out the lead. We're watching from the roof cam of Ken Schrader, who is 9th.
There's still 12 cars now on the lead lap.
From the 25 car of Ken Schrader. Looking at 3, Dale Earnhardt, and the 4 car of Sterling Marlin. There's a race for 3rd place between Morgan Shepherd, the 21 single car, Steve Grissom, 29, the black and yellow Meineke Chevrolet. That's for 3rd place.
Steve Grissom's best career finish in Winston Cup was his 6th at Rockingham earlier this year, so he's having his best run. And now looks to the inside of Morgan here on the straightaway.
Can't quite make it. We heard that radio. That was a spotter getting ready.
Now Sterling Marlin and Dale Earnhardt are both charging up on Todd Bodine.
Sterling had a notion to try it on the inside going into turn 3, but decided different. Well, Earnhardt is putting the pressure on Sterling Marlin.
Sure is.
And he got Sterling a little bit loose as he came off that 4th corner.
With Rick Mast.
Well, Rick Mast has come out of the infield care center. Rick, are you okay?
Yeah, my neck's a little sore, but you know, they've had a lot of wrecks today, but the problem is the biggest part of a lot of them is that there's a couple lap cars or a couple cars down a lap, and we only got one groove here, and they're getting in there and running all over the place, wrecking everybody. The 47 car's been all over the racetrack. You know, I was trying to get by him down there. He run me up high, he run me low. I finally got by him. He run up in the left rear and turned me, and I started that whole wreck down there. It's just ridiculous, but you got to deal with that every week, or not every week, but a lot of weeks you got to deal with stuff like that. It's part of it.
Well, Rick Mast is okay. Glad to report also Bobby Labonte is still being checked out. They brought him in. He was favoring his left side, Bob.
And positions being changed up front as Todd Bodine passes Morgan Shepherd. Here are Earnhardt and Sterling Marlin right behind Morgan.
And wow, Rick Mast was telling what happened over turn 2. You saw Dale Earnhardt get by Sterling Marlin.
A 2.5 second separation between 1st and 5th. Now here's Earnhardt passing Morgan Shepherd at the end of the backstretch. Tape flapping on the Citgo Ford, showing wounds of earlier accidents today.
All that racing's going on. Ted Musgrave just sitting out there has a good, comfortable lead. Right now he is 3 3/4 of a second ahead of Dale Earnhardt.
And we see Sterling Marlin getting by Morgan Shepherd. We heard Morgan Spotter tell him on the inside.
We talked earlier about Ken Schrader and how he has had the worst year of the 3 Hendrick drivers, but he's the only survivor of this one.
And he's trying to get by Morgan Shepherd. Makes a run, coming off the 2nd corner. And he does take that spot away. Puts Schrader up into 8th.
For those of you just joining us and you saw our recap, we did not show you how Jeff Gordon was taken out of the race. He was also involved in an accident that's put his car behind the wall.
As we watch this, they're trying to push Jeff. Well, they are pushing Jeff Burke's car down the pit road, trying to restart that car. Something's happened to it. He was not. He spun coming off the 2nd corner, but didn't look like he hit anything. But the car will not restart.
He drove right to the garage area after that incident, but now it's back on pit road, but they're pushing it back again as we continue to watch the action on the racetrack. The 75 and the 3 are battling for position. Todd Bodine and Dale Earnhardt for 5th. Top 5 have never won NASCAR Winston Cup races. Only Derek Cope, who is running second, has.
Both of those wins came in the same year, 1990, on the Daytona 500. And the Budweiser 500 at Dover, Delaware.
Michael Walker going by Jimmy Spencer. Todd Bodine closes in on him, and Dale Earnhardt, I should say, closes in on both of them. Now we see that Dale Earnhardt is closing in on Ted Musgrave in 5 laps. Almost a second and a half. He got closer to our leader, Ted Musgrave.
All that courtesy of AutoZone, showing you the on-track interval between laps 234 and 238.
As a matter of fact, Derek Cope and Steve Grissom are closing in on Ted Musgrave, too. Ted got caught behind some lap traffic there a moment ago and really cost him a good bit of time.
And Sterling Marlin's car, the Kodak Film Chevrolet, who was so strong earlier, we saw Earnhardt pass him a moment ago and drive away from Sterling Marlin. So it looks like Sterling's car is just not handling properly right now.
There is Sterling, who has dropped back several car lengths behind Earnhardt. John Kernan has an update on Bobby Labonte.
Well, I just talked to his PR man, Larry Camp, and Larry just came out of the Infield Care Center from talking with Bobby, and they're observing Bobby right now. He's complaining of pain in his left shoulder. It's bruised up, is what Larry says. Of course, Bobby's suffering from the flu, dehydrated, so they're giving him some fluids, trying to rehydrate him. Right now, Bobby Labonte is being observed in there. We don't know if he's going to be transported. Larry Camp doesn't seem to think so. He thinks it's just a bruised left shoulder. Now let's go to Bill Weber.
Well, back here in the Meineke Monte Carlo pit, we're watching Steve Grissom catch the leader at about a half second a lap. Big crash, though.
Up in turn 1, and Brett Bodine and somebody else.
That's John Andretti, the Kmart car, is sitting up against the wall. There we see Brett Bodine is spun down to the bottom.
It's Davy Jones.
I'm sorry, and all the Andretti people will be glad to know that was not him. The Davy Jones people will be sad to know that it is him.
Yes. Brett able to drive away the 77 car of Davy Jones, which was only a lap down in 13th position, so Davy had a pretty good run going after a disappointing qualifying effort that resulted in his starting back in 34th position, but a lot of damage to that Jesper USA Ford.
US Air
Ford, yeah.
Well, USA, yeah.
So, what's that? 15 cautions. And now, Benny, you begin to wonder if we're going to get 400 miles in before it gets dark.
And here's the cars going on pit road.
All the leaders.
Ted Musgrave coming in. Derek Cope. There's Earnhardt. Sterling Marlin.
Also Schrader, Shepard, and John Andretti as we watch Musgrave. Here's John Kernan.
Ted Musgrave been all the way down, pit stall number 23. Don't get much farther back than that. Right side tires already on, left side tires on, but the good news is he still is on the front straightaway. A good pit stop for Ted Musgrave. Let's go down to Earnhardt's pit.
They have changed right side tires. They're going to put a round of bike back in the rear of the car. Cope is out. We're going to take some tape off the front of the car, but Earnhardt, 18.4 seconds. And let's go to the back pits and Bill Weber.
Steve Grissom is in. This is a daring change. This team could go the distance, and Steve Grissom had just radioed in that the 4 tires they put on just a few laps ago were the 4 best tires he's had all day. Now he's got 4 new ones, definitely enough fuel to reach the finish. He was 6th yesterday. He's desperately trying to get out. The leaders have gone by. Grissom's on his way. Beats out Michael Waltrip.
But he's going back to about 8th or 9th position. All the cars on the front straightaway pits beat Grissom out of the pits.
All right, here's a replay of the wreck. Jones hit the wall early, and then Brett Bodine got involved.
Yeah, I did not see it, so
it's hard to say what happened. Yeah. In any case, Brett, as we said, was able to drive away. However, Davy Jones is not able to, and the wrecker is there in front of the car. We're going to take another break. We have completed 245 of 293 laps in the Transouth Financial 400. Well, since starting its national tour in September of '92, the Family Channel Blip has delighted thousands of spectators with appearances at fairs, festivals, and sporting events like this one in 90 cities and 35 states across the country. And they are hovering overhead today, providing some overhead shots. Now, that pond that Dave Despain referred to earlier today at the top right of your screen.
That ain't it.
Okay.
That's not it. Excuse me. Use better English than that. That's not it.
Okay. But it's water.
It's a pond, and there's probably fish in it.
You didn't know what I was going to say. I was just going to say that pond there that you see has a lot of fish in it that Kyle Petty may be trying to catch right now.
While we speak, as we speak.
Guess who's leading? Dale Earnhardt.
For the first time today, as a matter of fact.
That is correct. Yep.
As Jarrett pointed out.
All right, let's check the summary and see how that happened. Musgrave was first, but comes out third. Cope from second to fifth. Grissom third to seventh. He's on the backstretch. Mike Waltrip fourth to eighth. He's on the backstretch. And Earnhardt gained 5 positions from sixth to first. Jerry?
Well, Dale Earnhardt came in and we saw his pit stop. Now, what they had talked about was putting a round of bite in the car, but I guess in the hurry to try to be able to beat the 4 car out of the pits, that's not what happened. I was calling the pit stop and said they're going to put a round of bite in the car to tighten it up, and that's not what happened. They actually took a round of bite out of the car. So now Earnhardt is 2 rounds of bite away from where he would like his car to be, which means he's probably going to be quite a bit looser than he wants to be when we go back to green flag racing.
Big smile down here for Jack Roush as he's down in Ted Musgrave's pit. They were about 20 laps short of going the distance on fuel. So as soon as that caution came out, Jack Roush did a little dance, a little jiggle up on the pit wall as they are now able to go the distance. Although they did lose 2 spots in the pits, Musgrave will be restarting this race in third.
We're watching from Ted Musgrave's in-car camera, and let's watch Dale Earnhardt's pit stop, Benny, and maybe we can see what they did.
Well, they say they're putting the wrench in the right side, and they're tightening down. They're on top of the spring. Right below that is where they adjust the Panhard bar. They tighten that bolt down, or yes, turn the bolt down, and that does take wedge out of the car, just like Jerry Punch told us, and loosens the car up. And they wanted to go the other way. They wanted to loosen that bolt.
Well, we'll see how he does here when we go back to racing. Still no indication that we will do so. So we will take another break and be back in just a moment with 248 laps completed. Dale Earnhardt is your leader now over Sterling Marlin and Ted Musgrave. There's a Napa Field summary for you. Boy.
Jeff Bodine is trying to pass
the pace car.
trying to pass the time as he drafts Elmo Langdon, the pace car driver.
All right, the field summary now.
Wow, you're either in the lead lap or you're way behind. Way behind.
Yeah.
The first car, as we saw there, was Billy Stanridge, his 14th position. He is 4 laps down in 13th position.
Yep, there are 12 cars on the lead lap, and the next one is 4 laps down.
I'm going to try to talk to Michael Waltrip and see. Michael Waltrip, this is Benny Parsons up in ESPN. You read us?
Yeah, Benny.
Man, this has been some day, hasn't it?
Have you ever seen the like of stuff I've gone through?
No, and you're still running in the lead lap.
Well, we think we're going to be good here. I think I can pass some of these guys, but as y'all can real well tell, track position is everything, and the 3 and the 4 are going to be long gone by the time I get through the traffic. So we got our work cut out for us. But this Pennzoil Pontiac it's been good all year, Benny. It's just had some problems and just hanging in there, trying to dodge all these wrecks. You know how that goes.
At almost 170 miles an hour, this racetrack is getting more narrow than ever, isn't it?
They should have done something when they paved it. If they would have just taken and widened the turns. You know, I know it wouldn't be the same old Darlington, but these ain't the same old race cars like I said you and Ned was racing back in the 20s and 30s. So
Wait a minute.
maybe we don't need to run on the same old Darlington. I know some of them don't anyway.
Michael, I want you to know I raced in the 80s, not the 20s and 30s.
Yeah, that's right. I remember seeing you around.
And Ned raced in the 60s, too.
Yeah, but I feel like I raced in the 30s today.
Now, I just want to tip my cap to my spotter. He's doing a great job today. And Doug Hewitt and Ron Perrier and all the boys that worked so hard on this car for me. Feel like we're going to be all right this year. Run good all year long. Hopefully we'll be right.
All right, Michael, good luck. Let's try Ted Musgrave and see what's going on with him. By the way, the spotter for Michael Waltrip is Terry Smith. He didn't name me my name. Ted Musgrave, this is Benny Parsons up at ESPN. You read me?
Benny, I got you.
How's everything going? Pretty wild, huh?
Well, I'll tell you, this is about the wildest Darlington I've seen ever.
I mean, this is the way it used to be. It's not supposed to be like this in the 90s.
Well, Benny, I'll tell you what, when we started going here with this car, and I just told the guys, it looks like it's going to be a good points race for us. We just stay out of trouble. That's all we've been doing.
You're up in third spot. You got anything for those two Chevrolets in front of you?
Well, I'll tell you the truth, Benny, I think I might have something for one of them, but I don't know about the second one.
Which one you got something for?
Well, I think the 4-car may have a broken valve spring, so I might be able to get a lot of pressure on him and get by. I don't know, Benny. Like I say, they're awful tough, but this car's running pretty good, too, in the long run.
Well, good luck, Ted.
Thanks, Benny. I'll see you later.
Ted Musgrave.
So you hinted, Benny, that something might be wrong with Sterling Marlin, and he confirms it might be a broken valve spring.
All right, I see Mark Martin. He's had a pretty rough day. Let's see if he's up to. We don't have the 6-car in our racing radios, racing electronics. I'm sorry. Hook up.
There it is, all beat up and wounded, but still out there. We'll try to dial in Darrell here.
Does Racing Electronics have Darrell? Yeah.
Go ahead, yeah.
Darrell Walter, this is Benny Parsons up ESPN. You read me?
Yeah, Ben, how come you wait till the race about a whip car, throw all the pieces, and then you call me?
Well, I mean, I'm sorry, but, we've been trying to document who's going to win, who's going to lose. But right now, I don't know who's going to win, who's going to lose.
What would this thing be like if it was 500 miles today?
It'd be called because of darkness, we think.
I know I'm pretty dim in here.
Looks like you're pretty beat up in that Western Auto Chevy.
Well, we were messed up in the get-go there, and I don't know why, the air pressure or the tires we started on or something. I'm not sure what it was, but got going real good, and then I run over something going down the back. I felt it, but I couldn't get out of the throttle and get wound up quick enough to keep getting it up in the fence. 2 laps down would really look good right now.
Yeah, it really would look good. As a matter of fact, you'd be in about 12th spot and might have a chance to win this thing.
Hey, I ain't give up yet.
I think it's time, Darrell. I think it's time to give up.
All right. Well, I just wish I could run good enough to watch the race anyway. I hate to catch them every now and then.
Well, if you just slow down a little bit, they'll be about a lap you in about 10 laps. You can race with them then.
I'm just marking, putting down miles today, Ben. It's one of those days. The only thing I got to look forward to is Bristol.
You like that place, don't you?
Can't wait. I know I'm going to run good at Bristol. I know I'm going to have a shot at winning one. I just get out of here today and go on up there.
Hey, Darrell, you're a TV guy, right?
Oh, well, I try to be a little bit of everything,
Well, how about taking us to break? How about just telling everybody, that we're going to commercial? How about doing that for us?
All right, folks, I know y'all probably get a little bit tired sitting there eating all that popcorn, drinking all them Cokes, Pepsis, but don't go away. There's got to be some more excitement. There's too many cars still rolling. Don't go away now. Don't touch that dial. Don't turn over to nothing, and we'll be right back.
Back at Darlington, they were going green this lap, but they waved it off, and so now they will get the 1 more to go signal before we get back to racing. It's going to be Earnhardt at the front of the field with Marlin, Musgrave, Schrader, and Cope.
This is unbelievable. Poor old Jeff Burton. He spun out, at least twice today. Really didn't hit anything, but somehow the car wouldn't start. And they've been pushing it back and forth, and finally it started, and guess what? It caught on fire. Just look at all where the fire extinguishers have put the fire out. There's Jeff Burton talking to
Donnie Richardson.
Donnie Richardson saying,
I can't believe this happened also.
He's being shown in 19th place, though.
Yep. Well, let's take a look at the manufacturers battle. In the top 10, there are 4 Chevys, 4 Fords, and 2 Pontiacs. 11 through 20, 9 Fords and 1 Pontiac. 21 through 35 Chevys, 3 Fords, and 2 Pontiacs. And then 31 through 40, there are 4 Chevys and 6 Fords. And 41 through 42, 1 and 1 Chevy and Ford.
Well, Elmo finally quit.
Yeah, pace car finally parked it. So now we'll get ready to go back to racing. It'll be 2:56 when we go back at the beginning of lap 256.
Looks like 2:55 according to the scoreboard, but
yeah, it will be completing lap 255 and on lap 256.
Oh.
This race is 293. So.
Yeah, we've still got a while to go.
Yeah.
And it's still anybody's race. And we'll see if Ted Musgrave does have something for at least Sterling Marlin as he thought he might. Who's that, Schrader up top?
Schrader on the high side, and here comes Morgan Shepard trying to get by.
Cope got by him.
Steve Grissom right up on the outside of Shepard, and he figured Shepard didn't know he was there, which was smart to back out. Now Shepard comes down on the inside of Schrader and makes the pass.
Up front, it is Musgrave who is breathing down the rear spoiler of Sterling Marlin.
And Dale Earnhardt, let's don't forget that Dale Earnhardt went the wrong way with a chassis adjustment, so what's his car going to be like?
Yep.
And meanwhile, poor Ken Schrader, something wrong with his car. He's losing even more spots.
I believe the car is just not handling.
He's dropping way back. Flat right front is what we hear.
Man,
okay,
man.
Behind the turns.
He's trying to get to the inside, it looks like.
He's trying to get to the inside. Jeff Bodine trying to pass him down there. That can't get out of the way.
Well, they stayed down pretty good that time. They might have slowed it down enough before it stayed out there. Now he gets it down to the inside. Gets those guys out of the way. Let them get down to the inside.
There he goes to the... I guess he's going to the pits. He's very slow. Yeah, he's coming in pit road. Tough break for Kenny Schrader.
It'll drop him at least a lap down. Budweiser Chevy rolls in while on the racetrack. Shepard, Grissom are battling for 5th. Yeah, I'm Michael Waltrip.
Michael's back behind Grissom.
Comes right up on the back, shoots to the inside, and passes Morgan Shepard going into 1. Now from Michael Waltrip's roof cam.
Steve Grissom on the scoreboard. The scoreboard here at the track has this the first 5 positions.
And Ken Schrader completed the tire change. He's back on the racetrack, building up speed down the back straightaway as we watch this competition between Sitco and Pennzoil. Michael trying to get to the inside, can't make it.
Jeff Gordon has led the most laps here today, 156, and among the lap leaders, one of the highest totals goes to Elmo Langley, who's been out there 87 laps at the front of the field.
Because he drives the pace car.
Morgan Shepard in the 21 car has been in how many wrecks today, Ned? Just 1 or is it 2? I think he's been in a couple of bump ups and still hanging in there.
Yeah.
Here he is.
Yeah, no serious ones when he got involved with when Jeff Gordon wrecked.
Brand field summary. Here are the top 10. And 11 on the lead lap. Here's John Andretti, who has stayed in the top 10 just about all afternoon in the Kmart Little Caesars Ford.
And he's chasing those guys.
Yep.
Grissom, Morgan Shepard, Michael Waltrip. A lot of spots up there if John Andretti can get there, or Bobby Hamilton either.
Yeah, Bobby Hamilton's right on Andretti's back bumper.
Now here's up front, first and second, Earnhardt and Marlin.
They pull away about, 7 or 8 car lengths from Musgrave.
I tell you what, if Sterling Marlin does in fact have a broken valve spring, then Earnhardt's car is losing. Here comes Marlin on the inside. He's got to run. Nope, can't quite make it. And we see that Musgrave was able to close in a couple of car lengths as they raced each other.
29 to go. The points leader coming into this race with a 72-point advantage over Marlin.
Musgrave was able to close up when Marlin almost got up beside of Earnhardt.
That glare is a problem, looks to me like, Benny.
Yes, it is. You can see
right here you go from bright sunlight and a glare into shadows, and your eyes have to do some major adjusting.
That's why we've seen when we've seen the cars in the pits making a pit stop, some guy over there cleaning the windshield, and he stays there the entire time that the car's in the pits, just cleaning the windshield because of the visibility. Todd Bodine on the inside of Morgan Shepherd. We see Michael Waltrip has already gotten by Morgan, and here comes Todd trying to pass the 30 car of Michael Waltrip.
It's a battle for sixth. Waltrip in sixth, and back. Meanwhile, the lead up front. Oh, it looked like that Marlin was going to make a move. What was that I saw from Musgrave's car?
So, puff of smoke out of one of those cars. Was it Musgrave's?
Looked like it.
No, couldn't tell.
Doesn't look like it's hurt the run if it was Musgrave's car. Let's see. Let's watch as we come off the corner. And one of those cars.
Nope, it was
Sterling's car.
It was Marlin,
yeah.
Sure was.
So I guess he does have, in fact, a broken valve spring, and so Musgrave was talking about.
He's running pretty doggone good to be on 7 cylinders.
And Earnhardt's car, no doubt, is loose.
Musgrave's got to be thinking, hey, I'm not going to take a chance at these guys. They're a little bit crippled.
Only 25 to go.
Uh-oh, Musgrave got too high down at 1.
This is Ted's 127th Winston Cup race. His best finish was at Daytona this year, a 4th. He was a rookie back in 1991 and finished in the runner-up to Bobby Hamilton, who won Rookie of the Year honors that year. Here's the battle that continues between Andretti and Hamilton. This is for 9th place.
Andretti has the 9th position. Hamilton wants it. As we watch this battle, the car number 8 of Jeff Burton, they finally got that thing fired. He's going back out on the track.
He won't be able to see from white dust for about 2 laps.
He's 50 laps down right now in 20th position.
Boy, Hamilton really closes in the corners, but Andretti gets away from him in the straightaway.
43 car's been around Darlington many laps. Michael Waltrip, Todd Bodine got a good race going. There's 5th right in front of
Grissom. On the leaderboard, only a 1/10 of a second separates first and second, and almost 5 seconds back to 5th. But the first 3, as you can see, separated by less than a half second, and Todd Bodine takes the position away from Michael, but
he's trying. He said, no, I won't take a chance on crashing here because after what I've seen today, it would be easy to do.
Now Bobby Hamilton has passed John Andretti, and here comes Jeff Bodine to do the same.
Jeff Bodine is 5 laps down in 14th position, but nevertheless he did make the pass. So now Bobby Hamilton moves up tonight.
Back on the racetrack after his early spin.
He's 94 laps down in 34th place.
John Andretti has a top 10 finish this year. Bobby Hamilton also has one top 10 finish. Up front, it is still Dale Earnhardt looking for his first win of 1995, pursued by Daytona 500 winner Sterling Marlin. There's Billy Standridge again in the 47 car, and the leaders put another lap on him. And now a battle between Grissom and Todd Bodine. Bodine's running well. He's going to pass Steve going into the first turn.
Yes, sir. Todd Bodine right now might be as fast as anyone on the racetrack.
He moves up to 5th. It's 5th, 6th, and 7th right there. Back up front, it is still Earnhardt. In fact, he has pulled away now a little bit in the last lap or two from Sterling Marlin and Ted Musgrave. Derek Cope is 4th, Bodine 5th, 274 of 293 laps complete. This race has gone slightly beyond what we thought it would. No, it's gone well beyond what we thought it would.
And we see the front two cars of Earnhardt and Sterling Marlin has been able to pull away from the 16 car of Ted Musgrave, but this traffic just might help Musgrave out to catch these two cars.
Here's Jerry Punch with more on Sterling Marlin.
We heard Ted Musgrave report earlier. He thought that Marlin may have a valve spring broken, and we saw possibly a puff of smoke earlier out of the 4 car. Now, I've spoken with Tony Glover, Larry McClure, Ed McClure, everybody but Grandma McClure, and they have no idea that they have any engine problem. In fact, we don't know anything about it. Sterling doesn't know anything about it. In fact, we're at the lead right now, so they feel like their car is running awfully well here in the final 25 laps. Rob?
Okay, looks like it could come down to either of these two, and you'll remember how these cars raced to the checkered flag at Daytona with Sterling up front. 13 laps to go in this, with the average speed of this race 109.696 miles an hour. We've had 15 cautions period for 86 laps. That's a new record for the most laps under caution in any spring race.
Look here down the front straightaway. Sterling trying to get to the inside, can't make it.
Got scared.
We'll watch him as they go up the backstretch, come off the turn 2 here. He is not losing anything on the straightaway at all. And here he's gaining on the straightaway. As a matter of fact, he's going to turn 3. He'll get it this time. Yep. But watch Earnhardt try to slip right back under it. No, it didn't do it that time. Sterling's kept her down, was able to keep it down, but that allowed Ted Musgrave to catch him right up to him.
So Sterling Marlin takes the lead of the Transouth Financial 400 with 11 laps to go. Now Ted Musgrave is in 3rd, right behind Earnhardt.
Sterling Marlin's going to check out on him here now, guys.
Yeah, Earnhardt's car has went away, has gone away.
I think that loose situation that Jerry Punch talked about, the rare mistake by the Childress team, took a round to wedge out instead of put a round in it. Can make a world of difference. Car on a track like this.
But you got to feel that Dale Earnhardt will still be satisfied with what he gets out of this race, because although he wants to win as many races as possible this year, you know that in the back of his mind is the 8th championship that he is on the way to at this point. There is Mike. That's Mike Wallace there.
The 90 car. And there's a race for, what's that, 4th place? Yes, it is.
Todd Bodine still on the move in the factory stores Ford, trying to move around Derek Cope.
Since his last pit stop, he has been on the move.
He really has. Apparently they made some adjustments on his Ford. He is on the go. Move Derek back to 5th. Way back behind them in 6th place is the car number 30 of Michael Walker.
Steve Grissom, who is running in...
No, he's running 6th, and Michael Walker 7th.
The 47 car of Billy Standridge will register, or is on his way to registering, his best career finish ever. He was 24th here in September.
There's late speed by him in the Span car.
His previous best finish 24th, and Standridge currently is in 14th position. Continuing to watch second and third here, Earnhardt and Musgrave. There's Kenny Schrader being lapped as you see Sterling Marlin passing him.
Schrader just went 2 laps down. He's in 11th position. Had that flat tire.
Lost a lap there. Now he's lost another.
Man, I got a question for you. Okay. You know, NASCAR was going to impound a Ford, Chevrolet, and Pontiac today to take to the wind tunnel and see which car was the best. Where are they going to find one of these to take?
That's right.
That would be wind tunnel material.
Yes.
Really. I mean, because when you go to the wind tunnel, you want smooth cars, smooth sides, and all of that. You're not going to have that. Here's Ted Musgrave trying to take over second position.
He got a run on him. I don't know whether he can do it or not. They touch coming off 2, and Musgrave will not make the move. We would like to thank Racing Electronics for providing the in-car radios that we have enjoyed here on ESPN and on the Deuce this afternoon. We can dial up just about any frequency we want to and talk to whomever we want to, and we have enjoyed the conversation we've had with the drivers today. And on the Deuce, they've been able to hear the conversation between the drivers and their crews. We're down now to a handful of laps to go in this one.
Coming up on traffic is Earnhardt and Ted Musgrave coming off of turn 4. They get around one car. Now they come up on Rusty Wallace. Rusty will over and give him plenty of room, though. He's just out there making laps, and he's made a lot of laps since he came back out, made up a lot of positions.
Here's a great race for 5th spot. The 12 car, Derek Kovic 5th. There's 6th, Steve Grissom, and 7th, Michael Walker.
Is going a lap down in 10th position.
The real battle is right there for second place with 3 laps to go.
Sterling Marlin looks like he has things under control, but the battle is for second place, and Musgrave once again has a run coming off the second corner. Just cannot.
Had it running up on a lap car, he had to back off.
Yep.
He could not get in there at that time because there were 3 cars going slow into the turn, and that might have been enough to let Earnhardt. It did keep the position right then, but maybe for the duration of the race.
Just 2 more laps to go.
This is where Musgrave has been beating Earnhardt off the second corner. He's trying it again.
He's got him.
Now is Earnhardt going to back off when he gets
No,
that
sir.
turn?
No, sir.
Yeah, he did. Now he's trying to drive under Musgrave. See?
Oh,
there it goes.
got a
Back out on the inside. That's a patented move.
Yeah.
Nobody does it better, that move, than Dale Earnhardt. Now, Ted will have to do it again, coming off a 2 over there. But the next time, you say, well, I'll slow that thing down just a little bit going into 3. Keep her down on the bottom of the racetrack. Let's see if he can do it.
This is the white flag. We're on the final lap. Sterling Marlin is a half a lap away from winning the Transouth Financial 400. We continue to watch this battle for second place.
No, I didn't get up beside him that time coming off a 2.
Nope. Marlin is in turn 3 and 4. We'll keep an eye on him. Here are Earnhardt and Musgrave going through the corner. Here is Marlin taking the checkered flag, winning the race. Let's watch the battle for second. It goes to Earnhardt by about a half a car length. Ted Musgrave third. Here's a battle. Steve Grissom finishes in 6th and Michael Waltrip 7th. And Bill Weber was with Tony Glover.
A celebration is on, and you drove those last 20 laps. I watched you. Congratulations.
Well, I always wanted to be a race car driver and never got the opportunity, but I liked riding with Sterling.
How about that? You guys won at Daytona. You come back here, a wild day, Tony. You ever seen anything like this?
I tell you, it's one of the wildest races I've ever been to in my life, and you know, I hate Jeff Gordon had his bad luck there because you know, it was going to be a good race between us and him. We never had really showed our hand yet, but he had an awful good race car.
Chevrolet Monte Carlo.
Well, you know, the Chevrolet Monte Carlo is a good race car, but if you look at that 16 coming in there, Ted Musgrave, he had a heck of a good race car today, too.
Sterling Marlin, Tony Glover, and the Kodak Films team celebrates today in the Transouth 400.
Sterling Marlin was not able to back up his win at Daytona last year. He has this year, and he receives congratulations from members of various crews as he comes down and heads for victory lane. Sterling Marlin from Columbia, Tennessee wins in the Kodak Films Chevrolet. But Tony is right. Musgrave in the Ford hung in there, and Todd Bodine in another Ford had a great day. There's the 3-car of Dale Earnhardt, which finished in second position.
Down at the gas pumps, getting the thing filled up. We see the NASCAR officials standing there by the car, making sure that no one tampers with it. They'll fill the car up with fuel and take it back and inspect it to make sure that it meets weight and all the other rules that they have to go by. But that's basically a formality because, trust me, they will. Andy Petrie looking at the car and saying, wonder where we missed it today.
Sterling isn't going to be able to eat into Earnhardt's points lead by very much. They both led, of course, and because of the point system, Sterling will pick up very few points.
5 points.
Five, as a matter of fact, yeah. Since neither of them led the most laps, that distinction went to Jeff Gordon, who, of course, was eliminated in a crash, as were several others.
Well, there's a happy guy. Taking that helmet off. Ooh.
Thank you.
Have a sip there, Sterling. You've earned it. Let me get out of this 76.
There we go.
Tim Morgan there with the mustache.
Jerry Punch is right there.
And the celebrating continues. A big hug for crew chief Tony Glover and a big swig of Gatorade. Sterling, congratulations on a tremendous day. A survival afternoon for you.
Man, I ain't never seen nothing like it. Tony, he's the best. He taught me all the way through it and be patient, and had a real good car, the Kodak Delco Badger car, and just sat there and rode when we needed to and run hard when we had to. And the car just flawless all day. They gave me great pit stops, and everything worked out great.
How close were you at times to some of the onslaughts, the melees that took place out there?
I missed every one of them. I guess it's all behind us. And one time we got some stay dry, like hit the wall off two, but we got a little loose one time, adjusted wrong, and fell back. But they adjusted the car right back and come right back to front.
Now, some of the drivers said you might have had a problem with a valve spring or something late in the race. You weren't taking off on the restarts. Was that by design?
It looks like we had the wrong ratio in the transmission. We was about 4,000 RPM. We need to be about 4,500, and we just couldn't take off.
Last year you didn't capitalize, didn't take the momentum from Daytona. This year you have. What's been the difference?
Well, we've run the same as we had. I tell you, the crew's really worked hard all winter, built these new Monte Carlos, and practiced pit stops. They've been practicing pit stops all week. We got beat Atlanta a little bit, and they give me great pit stops, and the team's pumped up and fired up, and I am too, so we're going to try to win this championship.
Any questions at all in your mind that you could get Earnhardt with the final 25 laps when you went back to green?
Well, our car seemed to be the best on a long run, and I could run Gordon down a little bit, but we just couldn't go on new tires, and it just worked out that we didn't get a caution toward the end, and him didn't get a chance to get tires.
Sterling, congratulations.
Thank you, Jerry.
Sterling Marlin's third career win comes at the track Too Tough to Tame, the 39th annual Transouth 500, and Sterling brings that car to victory lane for the second time here in 1995. Bob?
And he becomes the 33rd different driver to take the checkered flag in victory here at the track Too Tough to Tame. And we will be back with more from Darlington, South Carolina. And the Transouth Financial 400 won this afternoon by Sterling Marlin. The Sterling Marlin fans are celebrating here at Darlington after their driver won today. Quest for the Cup standings. Dale Earnhardt remains on top. Sterling Marlin remains second, and Mark Martin remains in third position. Derek Cope jumped 5 positions today as fourth in the points. Terry Labonte lost 1 position down to 5th. Ted Musgrave jumped 6 positions to 6th. Morgan Shepherd jumped 3 positions. Jeff Gordon lost 2. Dale Jarrett lost 4. And John Andretti jumped 5 positions. Here's Bill Weber.
Well, we're here with Dale Earnhardt. Dale, you couldn't hold Sterling off there at the end.
The car was real loose. It wasn't loose on new tires, but then it'd get looser and looser. I couldn't hold. I didn't have nothing for him. And our car, one run was real good. We just kept adjusting with it, never got the car perfect. So we didn't win. It's lucky to get second, really.
Lucky to have your car in one piece the way things were out there today.
Well, that's true. We got some bummed up left front here, but really fortunate not to have a tore-up race car. And I don't know, the groove just wasn't wide. They didn't have a wide groove, and once they got dirt on the track was real treacherous up there high, and We just need a little wider racing surface, I think, for all these cars fast as they're going.
Dale, a lot of the co-favorites for the championship failed to finish today. You did. Another big step toward an 8th title.
Well, it is. But Sterling's second, and he won the race. So, you know, we notch him here, notch him there. That's what we're after, just consistent finishes. We've had top 5s every race, so working hard at that. The guys did a good job spinning all the boys back to shop. And Annie to fix this car from, you know, we tore it up down there testing, and then it's pretty neat to come back with the same car and run second. So we're happy with it. She was in bad shape. She'll make it to Bristol now.
And that's where we're going next. Right now to John Kernan with Ted Musgrave.
Well, a career best for Ted Musgrave with a 3rd place finish. You thought you had a little something for the 4 car. Turned out he didn't have that valve spring problem after all and wound up winning.
Yeah, I turned around. I didn't think I had anything for the 3 car, but at the end I did. And just needed a few more laps. You know, he gave me the classic Earnhardt pass in the 3 and 4, and I knew that was coming. I tried to keep it down low, but I'll tell you, you know, that Roush Family Channel speed stick car, it ran good all day. You know, kept us out of trouble, and you know, want to lead some laps early on, and you know, everything fell into place. You know, we worked hard at this, and the guys made all the right decisions in the pits. So, my hat's off to the whole crew. They did an excellent job for me today.
They worked overtime Friday, considering what happened in practice for Friday. You guys got the car put back together and ran great.
Well, you had to bring that up. You know, we just got a Darlington stripe on the left side. All it did is just scraped up the sheet metal a little bit in practice, you know. And come qualifying, I told the guys, I said, you walked awful hard getting this thing back together and looking nice. I'll take it easy, and got on the front stretch. And from there on, it was just a cruise for us, you know. Like I say, it would have been a lot different. There was a lot of accidents out there. A lot of top teams got knocked out, but our car was still strong no matter what.
All right, congratulations, Ted. Let's go to Dr. Jerry Punch.
We caught up with Todd Bodine, and Todd from 31st to 4th, pitting on the backstretch. About half a dozen of those wrecks were right in front of you.
Yeah, it was survival of the fittest today. The racetrack was tough. One groove, it was hard to pass, but fortunately our car was real good on long runs. The longer we'd run, the better we'd get, and everybody'd back up to us, and that was our strong suit. You know, I passed a couple there at the end to get some spots, but the factory stores forward it ran great. We struggled in practice. We made some changes this morning, and they really worked. And you know, fortunately, I like Darlington, and we ran good.
And you're also going to a track next week you like even more. That's Bristol.
Yeah, I love Bristol. We got 2 wins in the Busch car. We finished 4th last fall there in the Cup car, so I'm looking forward to it. And this win here, or this 4th place here, my wife's birthday's tomorrow. I'm going to go buy her a good present.
Okay, happy birthday to Lynn behind us, and he finishes 4th today. And Bill Weber is caught up with a fellow who rounds out the top 5, Derek Cope. Bill?
Derek, a great run for you today.
Well, thanks. You know, we're just delighted for Straight Arrow and Hill South and Danko Copiers because, you know, we've been battling this thing, you know, and we had a little trouble today. The car wasn't right early, and we just, you know, I got to give my hats off to the guys because they worked so hard and just kept coming in, making changes, and they got the car where I could drive it. And then we got some good track position and, you know, made a run at it.
Well, track position, because a lot of guys were kind of like in the garage looking for sheet metal out there.
Well, it was an awful tough race, you know, awful lot of attrition and people pushing and shoving. And, you know, the racetrack got pretty dirty, so a lot of problems. But, you know, we just tried to maintain a good, patient day and try to put ourselves in a position to be here at the end and worked on the car, and it worked out for us.
Derek Cope and the Bobby Adelson team with a good finish today. Back upstairs.
All right, and Chevrolet now has won the 5 out of the last 6 Transouth events. The average speed today was only 111 miles an hour, and here are the standings. We will also tell you that Bobby Labonte has been transported to a local hospital. They're going to x-ray his shoulder to see if there are any broken bones.
Jeff Bodine, all his problems, had a good finish today, Elliott. And all the fellows you see here, folks, had troubles, serious troubles.
Yeah, some of them had some real serious trouble, but Labonte, the only driver to suffer any injury. But it has been an absolutely incredible Transouth Financial 400 that was won here today by Sterling Marlin.
Poor Ricky Craven.
Yeah.
Had the distinction of finishing last today.
Well, we'll go to Bristol, Tennessee next week. And coming up next here on ESPN is the Grand Prix of Brazil, the opener for the Formula One season for 1995 with Damon Hill on the pole for that race.
And for once, I was delighted to have the in-car radio communications today from Racing Electronics, able to talk to Darrell and Michael Waltrip and get their insight, which I knew would be very good. It always is.
And we see the fans milling around as the trucks begin to leave. One of the largest crowds, maybe the largest crowd ever for the spring race here at Darlington.
Next Sunday, we'll be on the air at 1 o'clock Eastern Time for the Food City 500 on a racetrack that always has a lot of excitement for us, Bristol International Raceway in Tennessee. So join us at 1 o'clock next Sunday afternoon for more NASCAR Winston Cup Racing. For Ned Jarrett, Benny Parsons, John Kernan, Bill Weber, and Dr. Jerry Punch, this is Bob Jenkins. See you next week. So long, everyone.